Good afternoon, everyone. I'm your host, DJ Hamilton, on DJ Sports Show. Hope you're all having a great Sunday. I just want to record the intro from now, so I don't have to do it later. When I have the fellas come on, we can just get right into it. Talking NBA playoff predictions as the NBA postseason is upon us. Um, I'm not really in the best mood. I recently Spotify suspended my account for some reason, and I'm trying to get it back. And I appealed it and stuff like that. So if any of you guys have seen that on Spotify and wondering where my podcast went, that's the reason why. And it's kind of taking its toll on me mentally, so I'm not really in the best mood. Hopefully, I do get it back as soon as possible. And if not, I'm gonna have to manually put all my episodes from Apple and all back on there. But I'm praying, keep your fingers crossed for me. I'm trying to get it back. Back then, I didn't know that you couldn't use 10 seconds of copyrighted music. But they used to allow you to use Spotify music for transitions. That's why I used to think, but I didn't know better back then. So, but yeah, hopefully they let me get my account back, and then I could change the audio, change it up. But yeah, in this episode, ladies and gentlemen, just to get that little side note aside, just so you know why. Oh, why are you saying? Oh, the discount ain't there. That's the reason why. But yeah, we're gonna talk some hoops in this episode, and I hope you guys enjoy. See y'all soon. Oh man,
Hey.
Hey man, doing good. How are you?
How you doing?
life's been lifing, but just hanging in there, man. Spotify screwed
Amen.
me over. Better give my stuff back. Better
Yeah,
give my
nah.
stuff back, man. But
Spotify
mainly
basically.
trying to put my episodes back in, man. Yeah. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with my fellas Dylan Bruton and my guy Armani out in California. We're
So,
going to talk some NBA playoff predictions as the NBA playoffs are on the horizon. We're going to first get into the Eastern Conference, though. Eastern Conference. So what we're going to do is like say if it's like what we're going to do based on the standings. I know the playing still has to happen, so we don't know who the 7-8 seed is going to happen, who's going to be. But we're going to make our predictions. Like in the East, we probably most likely we all have the Magic being the 7 seed and the Hawks being the 8 seed. I know they're going to play each other, but I just don't see the Bulls and who's the other team in the 10 seed. Bulls and the Heat. I don't see them making the postseason, so we're going to do it like based on that. But and then we're just gonna go through. If it's a series we think is not gonna like go that deep, we can just quickly give our thoughts and then just go deeper into other series that we think is gonna be a real matchup. So first we got we're gonna do the Eastern Conference. We got the Cavs, number 1 seed, and then the Hawks, who are right now the 8th seed. The Cavaliers were the best scoring offense in the league this season. They have a dynamic backcourt and Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. I think that's going to be a lot for the Hawks to deal with. And then they also have their twin towers, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, who are legit shot blockers at the rim. They are lob threats. Evan Mobley can guard multiple positions. He's in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. And I know Donovan Mitchell has taken a step back offensively, but I think this is going to be 5 games. I think Trae Young could get you 1 game. Trae Young, I think this guy was 24-11 this season. Like he's the only player in league history other than Oscar Robertson to do that. What 3 times in his career? He's done it 3 consecutive seasons now, averaging over 24 points and a 10 assists per game. Like that's legit company right there. He joined Oscar Robertson. So I think I know in the playoffs, he can give you like that. I feel like he can give you a 40-15 game in Atlanta, give you 1 game. But I think the Hawks just don't have enough. I know Jalen Johnson, he's out with the injury out all season. They got Karis LeVert who get you some buckets here and there. Zachary Risseker has been playing pretty good as a late, getting some career highs and stuff like that. I think he has a lot of promise, but remember, he's just a rookie. And I know you have Dyson Daniels, legit defender. He's also in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. The dude was the
Yeah,
only player in NBA history to average 3 steals per game within their first 3 seasons in the league when I searched it up on StatHead. And he's one of 9 players to ever do so while being the youngest player to ever achieve such a feat. So they have a lot of pieces for the future, but currently they're still very young, very inexperienced. I just don't think they have the actual talent to really make a run. But I think with Trae Young's individual greatness, I think they could get 1 game.
I agree. I think at best it's a gentleman's sweep. I think the thing that you touched on is that they've got a great future and they've got players. A guy who I really love is Onyeka Okongwu. I think he's a very promising young big man. I think that even though he's undersized, I feel like he plays bigger than his size. Pause. but uh, but I do feel like he's a player though who I'm gonna be keeping an eye on because if they are going to be competitive, because I mean they're likely not going to win. But if you're the Hawks, you want to see the team be as competitive as possible, so you see what you have for next season going forth. And they're going to need to win the battle in the trenches because that like you mentioned, the duo of Evan Mobley and Jared Allen is the best big man duo in the league. So Okongwu's going to have his work cut out for him. I know they still have Capella. He's a bit older, but they're going to need them to play at a high level. But the guard matchup, I think, will be very interesting. But it would have been more interesting if you had Jalen Johnson out there. So yeah, Cavs in five.
Yeah, and it kind of goes down to level of talent as well. Like the team for Cleveland, like they kind of have a more stacked roster when it comes to depth as well. You look at Garland, Donovan Mitchell, you got Mobley and Jared Allen, and even at their three position, they have some versatile pieces that they could put in there that can cause a lot of damage to the Atlanta Hawks team. I feel like just as a little bit of inexperience, not to a high degree, but it's just it comes down to level of talent for me. Trey Young, like we have seen what he is able to do. We've seen him. I believe it was a couple seasons back. He was up against the Knicks, and I mean he did show out. We know he is able to create an impact on the game of basketball for sure. I just don't think it's enough, only for the simple fact about the depth that Cleveland has, and they're just going to be throwing bodies at him literally every single go around and rotation that he's on the court when they have the ball in their hands offensively for the Hawks. So um, I think it could be a 5 game series. I'm pretty sure I feel confident that Atlanta could pull one off on like a shocking regard because I mean there are games where Cleveland is really red hot, but then there's some games where they're not clicking at all. So maybe they could sneak one out. But I feel like the favorite for this like series is for sure Cleveland to get to the next round.
Yeah, I think a player to yeah
Yeah,
a
I think
player
it's 5 game.
to be
It's
on the
5 game
lookout
series.
for a player to be on the lookout for too. DeAndre Hunter. He will be playing his former team, and
Yeah, as a new addition on the trade.
you know what comes with that when you have that
Exactly.
opportunity to
Yeah, so
play
we all
against a
got
team that
Cavs in
traded you.
5.
So I think
That's true.
he's going to be
Yep,
out there
that's true. He did get traded.
motivated. He's going to be motivated to prove.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
mentioned him. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, he
mm,
was having a breakout year, but they've built a
They
roster
were sixth in bench
with
scoring
guys
this
who
season,
are
the
are
Cavaliers, and
competitive
they had
and
the second
hungry,
best
yeah.
and
scoring
they've
margin.
got
He was
two
part of
guys
it.
waiting in the
He
wings.
scored
Like
the most
I
20
I
plus
can't wait to
point games
see
this in a single
what
season of
they
his
do with
career this
Emoni
year.
Bates
It was balling.
personally, and if he gets some minutes and just gets that opportunity to play in the playoffs, I think that will be very instrumental for his career.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Mm. No, that's a good one. All right, the next one we got is the 4 and 5 seed matchup. We got the Indiana Pacers and the Milwaukee Bucks. This is a rematch of last year's first round series. I believe they played each other, but they were without Giannis and Dame. The Bucks last year, they were both out due to injuries. Giannis has been unstoppable this season, man. In his last 10 games, 31 and a half, 11.7 rebounds, 9.1 assists per game in his last 10 games on 61% from the field. He's the only one outside of Wilt Chamberlain as the only player to score 20 plus, shoot 60% from the field in 10 consecutive games. And he
Yeah.
just became the only player in NBA history to have back to back seasons averaging over 30 plus points, 11 rebounds, and shooting 60% from the field. Like, the dude is insane. And this is a Bucks team. He's the most dominant interior force in the league. And the Pacers, they struggle protecting the paint. This team, yes, they have a great offense. They're one of the best fourth quarter offenses in the league. They're second in fourth quarter offense this season, and they score over 29 a game in the fourth quarter. But I'm really curious how they're going to guard Giannis. They're 28th in points allowed and points in the paint, and Giannis is the premium what's it called paint interior force in the entire association. This guy's literally the modern day Shaquille O'Neal
Yeah.
and prime LeBron mixed together. The dude is a force of nature. I know the Bucks. I don't know if Damian Lillard's going to return from his blood clot. Well, there's reports of saying he could probably return in the first round. That would be a big upgrade for them that they could definitely need and boost
Mm-hmm.
offensively. But if not, it's going to be a lot on Giannis's
Yeah.
shoulders to have to. But he is surrounded by a lot of
Yeah.
shooters, guys who can knock down shots. Brook Lopez, he's been incredible for them this season. AJ Green,
Be
he's been a
nice.
big impact for them
I was
as
gonna say
well.
Notre
They're going to need
Dame.
Pat Connaughton to do what he did in that
I
last
haven't
game,
seen
score 43.
Yeah.
since he was at
I'm
Notre
like,
Dame
this guy's
with
balling out here. Like,
Ryan Grant.
yeah, like I haven't seen him ball that well since the year they won the
Yeah.
title. I'm like, okay, Connaughton. I'm like, they're going to need that from you in the postseason. Oh, what are you going to say? Yeah, like, yeah. And then the Pacers have Tyrese Halliburton. He's been picking up a little bit lately. I feel like he was crowned a little
Mm-hmm.
bit prematurely
He
last
did.
year. I
He
know
did.
because I want to see as when you're the premium franchise guy, you're looked at as the face of the franchise. Last year against the Knicks, you kind of had that game in the Garden where you were a no show. Like I think he put up a donut one game if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I'm like, if you're the number one option, you should not be putting up 0 points in the game, bro. I don't care if you shoot over. I need you to shoot the basketball, be aggressive, get to the rim. And that's what I'm worried about. Like, okay, you're going against Giannis now. I know he doesn't have Damian Lillard, but he's coming to attack at you every single possession. I need you to do the same for your team. You guys were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and you guys are kind of taking a little bit of a step back. I know it was kind of due to injuries last year, but I want to see you be that attacker, be more aggressive. When your team needs you to score, go and attack the basket.
I mean, looking at the
and
Bucks,
I know you have Siakam. Now you guys have more chemistry together. You guys have been playing
though the
together for a
Pacers
little bit
are
over a year
the
now.
higher
I
seed,
expect
I
that
have the
little
Bucks winning that
duo
series,
to be
even
more
without
efficient.
Dame. I just feel
in
like
the playoffs this season.
I mean, I feel like the matchup between Siakam and Giannis is going to be the biggest and most important because if Dame is out for most of the playoff is out for most of the first round, um, then Halliburton is going to be going up against KPJ, going to be going up against AJ Green, going against
Yeah.
going against Gary Trent Jr. He's going to go against all the guards, but they don't. They have shooters. They don't have like another point guard kind of player that can go step for step with Halliburton. But on the flip side for Indiana, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how Siakam and Miles Turner do versus Giannis, but that's easier said than done. And um, I think that this is going to be a grind. This is going to be a grinded out matchup, though. I do see this series going 6-7. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for either team, but I've got Milwaukee winning this one, and I think that it's just going to it's going to come down to who's going to out physical one another because the two teams are polar opposites of like Indiana's a very finesse team. Milwaukee's a bit more grit and grind. They do have the shooting, but they're a bit more grit and grind. They're a little bit more interior. They're a bit more interior heavy. So I think ultimately I've got Milwaukee winning 6 or 7 personally.
I think it honestly too, it comes down to who can knock down shots when it matters most. Um,
Yeah.
Indiana has, Tyrese Halliburton is a really good playmaker. He's going to find his guys. Giannis on his side for the Bucks, he attracts a lot of attention. He can kick out the
Yeah.
ball
It's a
and
good.
get people open and get shots up. Those role players and the other secondary guys that aren't the alphas on that team, they're going to have to lock in and be in a place to where they're able to, make an impact on the game besides focusing in on their star alpha. The thing that benefits Indiana, having Siakam and Miles Turner, you have the length of them to be able to cover the ground interiorly in the paint. But at the same time, we all know how Giannis is kind of like a modern day, more freakishly athletic Shaq, in my opinion. So it's going to be a challenge for them for sure. I think Milwaukee defensively, if they're way more out physical than them, I think they can win that game. I think they can win that series and move on to the next round. Um, I like Miles Turner. Went to Texas and everything. He was a really good center coming out, but there's times where you kind of look at Miles Turner and be like, okay, I don't know how physical he can possibly be right now compared to going up against Giannis. I just could see Giannis trying to dog walk him throughout the whole series. So I feel like 6 to 7 games, only because if Dame was there, it would possibly be 5, maybe 6. But due to the circumstances of where the Bucks are at right now, I think they'll be able to click and mesh at the right time. And as long as Doc doesn't fumble his adjustments and stuff. But overall, I feel like defensively, this team could lock in and knock down some good shots, and that they'll be able to win for sure.
I think a player too that if if he's healthy, just oh, it kind of cut. I was gonna say a player that I actually felt like would be
Yeah,
very interesting to
correction.
watch, but
Correction.
it's
The
kind of
Pacers beat them
unknown if he's going to
five
be able
last
to
year. Not
play this round because
yeah,
he's
they
dealing with a
sweep them.
calf injury. But Benedict Mathurin, he adds
Then the defense
another shot creator and a shooter, floor spacer, and he's a very explosive player. I love his game a lot. I love his guff, his attitude, and
yeah.
I don't think that necessarily Milwaukee outside of I mean, I still think KPJ has a lot of talent, so maybe this is a showing out for him as well, just to show like the talent that he still has. But Mathurin to me is their best on ball, is Indiana's best on ball scorer of like go
Mm-hmm.
out there, cook, make a bucket because that's not really like Tyrese can, but he's a facilitator, and then Siakam is going to be more top of the key elbow. So, but if they can, if they don't have him, and I like Neesmith, I think he's one of the best 3-and-D wings in the league. But what are you going to do if you already are having issues in the paint? You need to win the battle on the perimeter, and Milwaukee has a lot of shooters, so you need to have someone who can keep the defense guessing. It's like, okay, is he gonna drive, or is he gonna just pull up and pop for a three? So yeah, I think adjustments will adjust, and to that point, that same point, Doc definitely has to make sure that his adjustments are on point. And I think the thing though, there's more at stake for Milwaukee, so I think that's also what's going to be on their mind because if they don't win this series and if they don't like make a serious finals push, then I don't think that the duo of Giannis and Dame is going to be too much longer. Just in fact, in both of their age. And then to that, yeah,
Yeah,
but the
Yeah. Honestly, if they don't make a deep push, I think they
yeah,
might give it one more year, especially if Dame is out. If Dame is out with the blood clot, they might give it one more year. Yeah. If he's out. But if he does come back, remember, yeah, I don't know if he's been working out. Coming from a blood clot is kind of
that's a
serious.
good
So
point.
I
That's
think
actually,
they'll give it one more chance because they injuries
I
last year to
said no.
both of
That
them,
is a
and
good
this year
point
he's
because you're
dealing with the
right. We
blood
have
clot
not
now.
seen them
You want
fully
to go into the
healthy,
playoffs, both of them
and
healthy,
I
yeah.
mean,
and you want to see what you can do when both of them are
I
healthy
think
going into the
about
postseason.
I think about
That's why I
that
think they'll give it one more
with the
year.
Clippers.
But
Like we
yeah,
never
man, the
really
Pacers,
outside of
Bucks.
2020, we never saw
What do you
Kawhi
say?
and PG fully healthy with the rest of the roster. So that's definitely
Yeah,
something
both
that,
healthy at the same time. That's
to
what I'm
that
saying.
point of if they
And then
do if they do make a push, doesn't have to be a finals, but if they at least make it competitive in the conference semis or they make it all the way to the Eastern Conference, I do think that will buy them more time to be like, okay, this works. We
I
just need
agree.
to add a few more pieces, fine tune and tweak some things, and we'll be back to where we're at in 2021, ideally, hopefully. So, but yeah, my prediction's still Bucks though, Bucks in 6-7.
Yeah, for sure. Uh huh.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I got Bucks in 6. The Bucks beat them 3 of the 4 times. The only time the Pacers won is when Tyrese Halliburton hit that crazy 4 point play at the
Orlando,
corner
man,
three.
legit.
That was insane.
Shout out, shout out to the Magic though.
Yeah, that was the. All right, so the next series
Yes,
we got Boston Celtics, Orlando
they
Magic.
have.
I have the Celtics sweeping the Magic. I know Dylan is. So look, the reigning defending champion. Yeah, shout out to the Magic, man. I mean, the injuries have ravaged them though, but yeah, the Celtics they have tied this record with OKC since March 1st. Yeah, 18 3 or 19-3. Yeah, it's crazy. Their offensive production
Hmm.
will be too much for the Magic. I know the Magic have a terrific defense. This team was like the best defense in the entire NBA this season. Crazy. Defensively, they're amazing. Like they can stay with anybody. I know they're without Jalen Suggs though. That's gonna be a big blow to them. This guy wasn't just an all defensive type guard, but he also was their third scorer behind Wagner and Boncaro. Like this guy averaged over 16 per game in 35 games he played. They were 20-15 when he played. Losing him, not having him on the court to be able to guard guys like Derek White or Jalen Brown or Drew Holiday is going to be hurt them on the perimeter defensively. And then the Magic, they're a bottom 5 offense. Like they're not an efficient offense. They have lack spacing. You thought KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, coming in will provide that space for them, that shooter to open up the lanes for Moncaro and Wagner, but that has not come to a reality this season for the team. And then Wagner's brother Moritz is out with a torn ACL for the season, so you don't have as much height down low. Like the Magic, I think they have a great young core, but just the injuries to the team. And remember, this team at one point, when they were healthy, they were a top 3 seed in the East at one point. This in the early part of the season, they were balling. But then the injuries just like ravaged them. Caro, then the Wagner, they both had the same injury, oblique. I was like, what the hell is going on? Some epidemic going on in the Orlando Magic with the obliques. I'm like, what the hell? And then his brother tears his ACL, and then Suggs is out with his knee injury. It's like, it was just continuous. It's like, and they couldn't really build upon what they had last year when they pushed the Cavs to 7 games. I was like, oh, this young team might be the Cavs. I'm like, oh, this team is up and coming. I think next year will be the year we really see that jump that we wanted to see this year, but the injuries just kind of ruined it. But yeah, I had the Celtics sweeping, but I think I might change it. I think with the Magic's defense and Caro, I think he can get you 1 game. So I'll say Celtics in 5, gentlemen sweep, because I'm gonna give respect to Moncaro. I think his dominance, he's shown me in the playoffs last year that he can go to work and he's not afraid of the big moment. So I'll give the Magic 1 game just because of their elite defense. I know their offense is kind of clunky to say the
Boston,
least, but
you got it.
I think
Boston,
his brilliance will at least get them 1 game. But the Celtics is going to be too much.
We'll talk
they shoot
about
the most
the
threes in the
team,
league. They have the highest three-point percentage in the league, and they scored the most points off 3-pointers of any team in the league this season. So
Detroit Pistons,
yeah, Celtics in 5.
Physical, daunting teams when you think about just going pound for pound with. So if I'm Boston, I'm looking at this matchup and trying to get out as quick as I can. Get your 2 wins at home and get your 2 wins on the road and get out and recover, get prepared for the next round. Obviously, too, and I'm gonna let Dylan talk last, obviously, because I know this is his team. But if I'm Boston, you did what you did last year. You already got your championship. The chase and the hunt now becomes, okay, how do we get back into that hunt again and get on that run that we need to get on again? And obviously, it's kind of surprising. Obviously, they would probably think them being the number 2 seed compared to being the number 1 seed after the season they had last year. But the team is still pretty solid. The team is still very strong. The team still has a lot of depth to where, like DJ even mentioned about their shooting ability, like that you can't stop that. And no matter what, any given night, Tatum, Brown, White, Holiday, whoever, like it's anybody's night. So mentality-wise, I think Boston tries to knock this out pretty quick. I think, like we talk about Bancaro, and even Bancaro coming out of Duke and to where he's at now, like he's made a good jump, made a really great jump. I think the team is really good. I think, like you did say, Orlando's missing a point guard. And potentially could be missing a upgraded, refined version of maybe potentially another complementary piece to put around Bancaro and Wagner. I was talking to Dylan about this the other week. They need to let Wagner or whoever know that Bancaro, this is his team, and that he's the guy to lead this team to the where they're trying to get to. It's kind of hard because you got good production out of Wagner, and you get a lot of good production out of Bancaro as well. But there has to kind of be that. I like the same thing Jalen Brown and Tatum had to kind of mesh and go and deal with, but at the same time, the fluidity of their offense is kind of clunky, like DJ said. So coming down to it, like when it comes to like core discipline, I think Boston makes it out of this series as quick as possible in a sweep.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I love y'all know, Gang Green.
Yeah.
Love my team. I do. But knowing them and being a Celtics fan my whole life, I mean, we constantly play down to our competition. But Orlando was a team that did play us very tough all year. I believe we split the season series with them, and both games were close. So I've got the series going to 5, especially with the strength of their defense. Um, you mentioned point guard play. I really like Anthony Black, and I
Yeah, he's a
feel
good rookie.
like
He's a good rookie. I'm not.
this
I'm
will
not.
be this will be a big playoff for him
For
because
sure.
you have I mean, I feel like Orlando has too many guards still. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
they're
They
flooded.
came into last year with Fultz on the roster, and
Mm-hmm.
they also and then obviously
Cole
they still
Anthony.
have Cole Anthony and then Jalen Suggs, and then
Mm-hmm.
now they're down to 3, um, and I still feel like they're trying to figure out who is going to be that guy, and
Yeah.
I think that Jalen Suggs can be. I think he still can be their point guard, but he kind of is more of a undersized, not an undersized, but he's kind of been more in the 2 role, um, to give the defense some spacing, to give the defense a bit more spacing because Anthony Black is not much of a shooter at this point of his career.
Yeah.
Um, but they've got other guys on the team that I feel like that are talented that can space the floor, like Tristan Da Silva. I think he's a young player that could
Yeah.
have a nice
He's good.
series coming
Mm-hmm.
off the bench. You still have Wendell Carter, who I mean, he's not became the pro that people kind of anticipated or thought, but he's still very reliable. He's got a good mid range jumper. He's a lot like Al Horford. That's actually the player that I thought
That's
he
a
was
good
going to
comp.
be like.
It's a good player comp, to
Um,
be honest.
and then you have a defender like Jonathan Isaac, who is one of the best defensive players in the league. Doesn't
Mm.
offer much offense, but he offers some great defense.
Yeah.
I like Jet Howard as well. I feel like he's a good spark plug off the bench. But overall, for 4 to 5 games now with the Celtics, to not kind of stay on them too long. I have them coming out the East, so I think that this series is going to be their tune up, and it's going to be the opportunity to just fully get your legs under you and get ready. Um, I think that the matchup between Tatum and Moncaro is going to be a great one to watch. Duke versus Duke. They do have some similarities in their play styles. As like
Yeah.
hypersized, 3-4s that can kind of alternate in both. But there's just too much firepower that we have, and they
Yeah.
just can't match that. So this series 4-5 that you mentioned though that second round matchup is going to be very interesting, and both
Yeah.
those teams, New York and Detroit, I think will give us a tough series. But 4-5, and as long as I think if you're the Magic, as long as you're competitive in each of those games, you don't get blown out. You can walk away being proud of the season that you had because you mentioned they were third. They were 1 point third, and if it wasn't for injuries, they would probably be a higher seeding. They might be the 4th, 5th seed if Paolo didn't get hurt. And to that point about that combo that we had, I do think that Franz is going to have to that is going to have to be made clear that yes, you are an amazing player and you picked up the slack tremendously when Powell was hurt, but this is Powell's team. So I got Boston in. I'm gonna say 5. I'll say Boston in 5. I will give Orlando can sneak a win, and knowing my Celtics, we self destruct like no other. So
Yeah.
they,
That's
they,
true.
they can get
Yeah.
they can
Yeah.
get a win. They can get a win. But
Yeah.
past
So,
that, don't play with your food.
Yeah.
It's time to
don't play.
go in there. BTA. You already know.
Don't play with
You
your
know,
dinner.
you know. You said what?
I said don't play with your dinner, man.
No,
No,
that's
Don't
true.
play
don't
with your.
don't don't play with your food. So that's going to be
That's how
key.
it plays.
That's going to
Yeah.
be key for them. So
Yeah, my bad, y'all. My Wi-Fi is acting up. That's why I was like, oh man, I have to get back in the studio. That's why I like disconnected.
Oh
So
no,
yeah,
you're
if that
good.
happens, that's some internet issues. But yeah, the next series I want to talk about, the last one of the East. I think this is gonna be probably the best first round series. The Knicks 3 seed
Yeah.
versus the 6 Detroit Pistons,
that's
man. So the
Mm-hmm.
Pistons, they beat the Knicks in the season series 3-2. The most significant one of the most significant single season turnarounds this season, and one of the best in NBA history. I mean, Kate Cunningham really took that leap as showed why he was number one pick. This guy I think he should be All NBA second team as a guard. I think just the impact he's on that team, the winning, the way he just get to it. He's like he's not as good as him, but he's like another form of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Like this is the way he can get to wherever he wants to on the floor. At 6'7", a big league guard. He has 3-level scoring. He's not as quick, I would say, as Shea, but I think he has more girth to him. I think he could post up smaller guards, but I expect him to do that against Jalen Brunson and the Knicks in this series. He has a big height advantage over Brunson. Both teams really struggle to guard the 3-point line. The 17th in 3-point percentage for Detroit and 26th for the Knicks. I think Detroit should really try to get Karl Towns in some switches, get him on the perimeter, try to guard like Kate Cunningham on switches, make him try to guard out the 3-point line. And because there were some games I was watching earlier this season, Karl Towns on the switch, he'll get burned on the switch. He rather play drop back coverage than try to go help over the screen. So I think that's something that Pistons will try to game plan against. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Pistons upset the New York Knicks. I wouldn't be surprised. Remember, this is a Knicks team. This is a Pistons team. They're really young. They like to play at a fast pace. They were second in fast break points behind the Denver Nuggets this season. And they have a lot of youthful guys on this team, not just Cade, but Asar Thompson, Jalen Duren, who could get out, run the floor, fill in the lanes, Ron Holland. Like, those guys can get up there, catch lobs. They're active defensively. And then this is a Knicks team, Tom Thibodeau plays his starters a lot of minutes. Shout out to Mikal Bridges, though. Another 82-game season. Crazy, bro. This guy is Iron Man. But most minutes of any starting five this season, over 14,580 minutes. That's 500 plus more than the next closest team, and that's the Sacramento Kings, according to StatsMuse.com. When I saw that, I was like, whoa, this guy. And I know Cat's been dealing with some knee issues lately. Brunson had a recent injury he just came back from, so he's still trying to get into his groove. So I'm just kind of worried about their attrition, their health, especially against this young Pistons team that's going to try to push the pace on them. The Knicks, I know they're going to try to slow the game down in the half court. But yeah, man, this series, I think this series could go 7 games, man. I think 6 or 7. I think I'm going to give it to the Knicks because they have a little bit more experience. But I'm going to give Knicks in 6. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Pistons upset. I think this could be one of the series where we could see an upset.
Yeah, thinking about it too, like I haven't really paid attention to Detroit in a long time, since probably like Drummond was there. And maybe when Brandon Knight was there. I know we talked about Brandon Knight a while back. But anyways, back to the point though, like Cade Cunningham has literally transcended into like what we thought he would be. I've been following Cade Cunningham since he was at Montverde. Cade Cunningham went to Oklahoma State. He had a really good He had a good year at Oklahoma State. Had a lot of stats. I really enjoy watching Cade because he has an all-around game to him, kind of like you said about SGA a bit. But Cade is a more bulkier. He's a more bulkier guard when it comes to his competition at the point guard position. I feel like he impacts the game in a very tremendous way. I feel like he is able to create a good impact. And even that team they constructed around him now, like that team was a lot more, they got a lot more like vets now. They got some youth and they got the vets in there too to kind of help balance it out for them. So I really do like this team. I think the thing with the Knicks have the experience, and so that's the benefit that's on their side. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how Karl Anthony Towns plays in this series. I feel like he's going to be very, very important for the sake of the Knicks, only because he's the guy coming in to this team. Like the team last year, we know what they can do. We know how they can contribute and what impact they can make. But it's going to be interesting to see how Karl Towns creates an impact for the series.
Man, I heard like 5 words, and then it just like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the connection's a little.
Yeah, I'd probably cut out.
But what were you gonna say, Dylan?
No, I'll wait till Armani gets back. But I will say though, my prediction is Knicks in 7. But I'm with you on that. Of like this will be the most interesting matchup in the East, and this I think is the one playoff series where an upset could happen. And to that point about the season that Detroit had. I mean, coming off one of the worst seasons to turning around the way that they did, it's a testament to the culture that JB Bickerstaff implemented into the season. And I believe that he has to be in the coach of the year running. I know Kenny Atkinson is probably going to win it, and he's definitely deserved it. But oh, we back.
So yeah, my fault.
Okay. No, you good. You good. I was saying that I've also got Knicks in 7, but I do agree with DJ that this could be the series where we see an upset. But I think this is hard fought. This is going to be hard fought basketball. This is the kind of basketball that if you grew up on the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s style of play, this is the playoff series for you. And I think that um, the level and leap that Cade took. Now, I will admittedly say I was a bigger Jalen Green fan during the draft process than Cade Cunningham. But people do forget Cade Cunningham was compared to Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, and Grant Hill. Three amazing players. Obviously, both Tatum and Luca. That could be the finals matchup this year. Who knows? Knock on wood. I could. The league wants
Yeah,
that. The league wants that bad. We might get a follow up from last year. But the thing I worry about with the Pistons, because again, Cade is an amazing player. I love watching him play. He plays at his own pace. He plays a complete, well-rounded game. But they don't have much on-ball scoring outside
I
of
know.
Cade, and that's where the injury. That's where losing Jaden Ivey was such a big loss because they've got guys who can shoot. Obviously, Malik Beasley had an amazing year shooting from three. Tobias Harris jokes aside, Tobias Harris still it was a great contributor and he was a great veteran presence for them. And then, I think Asar Thompson eventually will be a better on ball scorer, just like I feel the same way with Ron Holland. But I think that there's not enough scoring from the perimeter outside of Cade. And if I'm New York, I'm throwing OG and Mikal at Cade. I'm throwing doubles at him and saying, okay, make everybody else beat us or try to. Try to. You know what I'm saying? But we're on you like we're on you like white on rice. And I think that the Knicks, they do have a lot of wear and tear this year because of injuries and because of the way Thibodeau, how he coaches and how he tends to not really give guys much opportunity to rest. But they have one of the best starting five lineups in the league, and I think that as long as Brunson is healthy and as long as Cat is playing hard on both ends of the ball, because that's sometimes the issue with him is that he can be a little lackadaisical on the defensive end, or he's a little too passive and only settling for 3-point shots. But as long as they're playing aggressive, I think that they win. And they're going to be a tough matchup. I mean, I had the Knicks. I said at the start of this year when we did that podcast, I said that the Knicks were the team that I didn't want to face the most. If I'm as a Celtics fan, the Knicks definitely, because they're going to grind. They're going to grind out games. Now we beat the Knicks every game we played this year, so I'm not worried about them. But they're going to
Right.
make it a tough matchup. So, but I'd be happy to see Detroit. That's these are two historic NBA franchises that are playing. So I don't know if you heard me say Armani, but I think this is the series that for fans of the yesteryear of NBA, this is the series
Yeah,
for
for
them to
sure.
watch. And
Yep.
this will be
Yeah,
also
for sure.
this will be a great exposure for Cade Cunningham on a national level, because I don't feel like he's I don't feel like his name is big enough. It should be bigger.
Because they've been
He's
bad. They've been bad.
it's right. So I think that if you're Detroit, again, same thing with Orlando. The goal is to make every game a fight, make every game competitive, and you walk away from that with pride. You walk away knowing that, hey, we fought it to the very end. We gave our 110%, and the world's gonna know about
Yeah,
us now. But I got
yeah,
Knicks in 7.
yeah. I think it'll
I
be a
got Knicks in
seven
7.
game series. So I feel like based off experience, the Knicks can win. Probably should win. And then like like Dylan just said, use Detroit use this platform of this series as the momentum you need going into your future period. Cade Cunningham will be able to get his name marketed out better, just kind of like how Shea did last year. And even everybody been knew about
Yeah.
Shea, but at the same time, he needed that playoff run in order for people to know who he actually is. So the same could happen for Cade, but overall, I think the Knicks are going to make it out and get into that second round matchup with the Boston Celtics.
That's gonna be a good one.
All right.
So we can quickly do the second round of the East. Cleveland. So we have Cleveland, Milwaukee, in the first round series beating there, and then we have the Knicks and the Celtics. Cleveland and Milwaukee. I just don't. It depends if Dame plays. That's the caveat. But if Dame's not there, I got Cavs in 6. I think Giannis is great enough to get you 2 games, but there's just too much offensive firepower for them. Because I just think there's too much. They'll have guys to throw at him like Jared Allen. Evan Mobley can match up with Giannis. He might not have the strength, but 7 foot, 7'4", 5" wingspan, and he can move his feet. I think. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You also have
that's going to be.
You have Hunter there as well.
Yeah, DeAndre Hunter too. DeAndre Hunter too. Yeah, you have guys who can throw at Giannis. Yeah. And then they have their guards, man. Like the Bucks, that's one of their biggest weaknesses, guarding on the perimeter. They're one of the worst on the perimeter in the league, and they have 2 guards who are all-star caliber. It's I don't know if they can hear. You guys hear me? Oh, connection saying we connecting again. But the Bucks, they don't have the guard personnel to really make a difference in the series. So I'll say the Cavs advance past the Bucks, especially if Dame doesn't play. And then, what do you guys think? You guys think Cavs too?
Yeah. I go Cavs 6. I like that point you said. Giannis is good enough to get you at least 2 wins, but there's just too much firepower that the Cavs have. They've been clicking. I mean, Kenny Atkinson. I was saying JB Bickerstaff. If it's not JB Bickerstaff, it's going to be Kenny Atkinson as far as coach of the year. They've been playing at another level. Hats off to them. I think Donovan Mitchell is due to turn it up in the playoffs. Like
it's a matter of time.
That's a guy who I don't want to face at all. That man, like when he's locked in and cooking, he is one of the best in the league and most feared players in clutch moments. So I think that it'll be a good series. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be competitive. It's not going to be a cakewalk, but they just the firepower that they have, the momentum that they have. I got that over Milwaukee.
Yeah. And then we have the Celtics and Knicks. I just think the Celtics, how they're starting 5, they don't have to. This guy, they're elite defensively, they're elite offensive. There's the side. They don't really have much weaknesses. They're starting 5. They all can match up man to man. They don't really need much help help defense when they're guarding out there. When they're guarding their man, that's what you really want as a defensive. If I'm Joe Mazzulla, I'm very happy about that. Like I know my guys. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, they can match up with their man. We don't really need to help switch over. Drew Holiday, same thing. Derek White, they're all defensive guards. Like, Kristaps Porzingis could protect shots at the rim, spacing the floor as well. Like, that's going to be too much for the Knicks. Knicks outside, they're starting 5. They're kind of bench kind of thin. So at the end, and then the Celtics, who you got coming off the bench? Al Horford. He comes in for Porzingis. There's no drop off in production. He can space the floor out the 3-point line. He's still a good defender at 39, 40 years old. It's crazy. They call him Uncle Al. Like, it's crazy how he's still effective at this age. Honestly, if you told me in 2018, I said if you would have told me he'll still be playing now and this effective, I would be like, hell no. But he's still somehow him and LeBron still somehow defeating Father Time. I don't know. Shout out to modern medicine. But yeah, and then you have Peyton Pritchard, who's the favorite to win 6th Man of the Year. I can't forget Peyton Pritchard.
Bring up that dude. Dog.
Yeah, the dude is a baller, man. So you have those guys coming off the bench, and then either Tatum or Brown are always on the floor. One of them are always on the floor. That's just going to make it hard for the Knicks to really, I think, to top the Celtics. And the Celtics they've been battle tested. They've been through tough games, tough series. And they won the championship last year. So they have their battle tested. They have that hardware to show for it. So I got Celtics in 6, and it's going to be a long series. Celtics in 6 for the Knicks. over the Knicks?
You,
I guess we
you
all
know,
agree.
I got my. I got gangrene going all the way and repeating. Um, I got that. I got us in 6 or 7. I think that it comes down to the matchup that is going to be most important because, I mean, respect the OG and Mikal, but they're not a fully focused Tatum and Brown. They're not stopping them. Sorry, and they're not going bucket for bucket with them. Respect to them both. They both have had I feel like Mikal picked up his play towards the end of the year, and I feel like OG had a really good year in my opinion. Um, but they're not going bucket for bucket, and they're not stopping them. And then you mentioned Pritchard. I think they'll probably throw Josh Hart on Pritchard or Drew Holiday. But either way, both of those guys can light it up from outside. I mean, Peyton Pritchard would be a starter on most teams if he wasn't a Celtic. Like he's the efficiency that he shoots, whether it's taking it to the rim or shooting from outside, it's insane because it's like you would look at him and be like, ain't no way. Like this man is shooting 47, shooting 47, 41 and like 85% from the free throw line. So he's just a very efficient player, doesn't turn over the ball much. Um, Sam Hauser, Sam Hauser is one of the best shooters in the league. He's going to be lighting it up. Cornette is a big body that you can throw at Cat, and it's not. I'm not saying he's going to stop Cat, but he's going to provide a physical presence that
Yeah.
is going to
I
be
forgot about
beefed
Luke
up front.
Cornett.
Same,
Yo, this
Yeah,
guy's
we
I've
talked
been
about
catching
same,
that.
some lobs this year. I'm like, wait,
yeah,
he could jump? I'm like,
yeah. Oh,
you
look,
don't
we
look
getting
that
up,
but
and then
it's like 7'1" helps,
not
man.
at all, not at all. He looks like an insurance salesman, but he gets up there and he really
The
fights.
tallest insurance salesman you'll ever see.
Hey, look, he really fights. So then Horford, and then I mean, I want us to use Neemias Queta. Now, I think what's going to happen though is I think it's going to be a battle between the two guys from the 2015 class, KP and Cat. I think it's going to be a battle. Stretch bigs. I think that's going to be a very interesting matchup to watch. But I would love to see us throw Neemias Queta out there and see what he can do as a defender in the interior. He can back down. He's got a nice jump hook, and his range is expanding. So I would like to see what we do for how we match up with Cat because we have a lot of different players that we can throw at him. So, but I still think that the Knicks there's enough there's enough bad blood between the two teams. There's enough of a rivalry. That's those are two historic franchises as well. But I think you know what I'm gonna give more credit to my guys. I'm gonna say Boston in 6, but it's gonna be a hard fought series. It's not gonna be a walk in the park either.
Yeah. No, that's true. What about you, Armani?
I'd say Boston in 6 or 7. And literally, it comes down to, like I said, and what we've been talking about. I don't think New York has the skill power.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Can you hear Armani on
It's
your end?
Mike.
Because he went out
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah, it's been a lot of connection issues. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys, but yeah. Marty, you hear us?
Yeah,
Marty,
yeah,
you
I'm
there?
there.
My teams.
I just don't think that. I don't think that New York.
Okay. What were you
Yeah, I
saying?
was just saying that I don't think New York has the firepower to match up with Boston on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, we know how they can play, and it might be low scoring or regards of that. But when it comes down to offensive regards, I think Brunson coming back, but even with Brunson, and I just don't. I don't know. It just depends how Cat plays and how Cat can produce against Boston because I feel like there's times where Cat can
Yeah,
be really dominant, then there's sometimes where Cat's really passive. And Cat is my favorite center. So I like how he's able to shoot the ball, space the floor out. I feel like he's really good at that. But you're going up against a Boston team where I feel like you need to dominate. If you're not dominating, you're going to get blown out the water. So I say 6, 7 games. Boston's
facts.
going to take it.
Yeah. Now, Cat is definitely the biggest
Mm-hmm.
deciding factor
Yeah.
for the Knicks
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
if he plays well, then it's going to make every game a dogfight. But if he's not playing well at all, and if we if and I named all the guys that they're going to throw on him. They're going to throw Horford. They're going to throw KP. They're going to throw Cornette. They'll throw Kata in any minutes that he gets. If he is not dominating those matchups, then
Yeah.
they have no shot.
Yeah.
Okay, not no shot, but they don't have as great of a shot as they would. So yeah, I got my boys though winning in 6.
Mm.
And I think that series will be more important because Cleveland is going to be a battle. That is going to be a battle.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then quickly, we'll do these conference finals. Where I guess we all have the Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics before we get into the West. Cavaliers and Celtics, man, 2 best teams in the East, man. You got 2 great offenses, 2 good defenses going at each other. Man, I think this series is going 7. I'm gonna give the edge to Boston. Like I had Boston ahead of the season coming out the East. This guy Dylan smirking. Yo, Dylan smirking. He's like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, choose the Celtics. But yeah, man, the Celtics just man, I just don't. I know you have DeAndre Hunter, you have Evan Mobley, but Tatum and Brown, man, I think they're just too much offensively. Porzingis can stretch the floor out. That's going to open up the lane for Tatum and Brown's drives. So that's going to take either Evan Mobley out or Darren Allen away from the basket, and that's going to make easy your drives to the lane for all the other guys on the court. And then you also have Derek White. He can hit threes as well. Derek White and Jrue Holiday are all defensive guards. They're going to be matching up against Mitchell and Garland. Mitchell's still going to get his. But remember, Mitchell, I think he's still going. He had 30-plus points in all the 4 matchups they played against the Celtics, man. So you better be careful, Dylan. This guy might come around and beat your team, man. He did drop 41 in the Garden, coming back down 20 against your team and won that game when Tatum had a great game that game, too. So this ain't going to be no cakewalk this year with the injuries in the East. You got a legit competitor right here in the Cavaliers, and they have the full repertoire. Mobley has taken a jump offensively, so I expect this to be a totally different Cavaliers team than we saw in years past. Mobley's more aggressive. He's more assertive, looking for a shot. And Mitchell, I know he's taking a step back, but he still could drop 40 like we've seen earlier this season in TD Garden, whether it's on the road or not. This guy's one of the best playoff performers we've ever seen, and he's been that since his rookie season back with Utah. Remember when he played against the OKC Thunder that series, and he was killing Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, and Paul George. Like he was destroying them as a rookie. We were like, oh, who's this guy? Looks like young D Wade. That's Donovan Mitchell. And then Darius Garland, he's back healthy this season, back to the All-Star level he's at. But it's gonna be interesting because I think the guard matchup. I know you have Tatum and Brown, yes, and then Mitchell are the stars, but it's really the guard matchup with the backcourts. Jrue Holiday, Derek White, all defensive type guards who can still get you 15, 18 from each of them, or even 20 if you need them to. How are they going to be able to negate Mitchell going off and then also Darius Garland? I think whoever wins that guard matchup, whoever wins that wins this series. I know Tatum and Brown are going to be great, but I think the guard matchup, whoever gets the most stops defensively is going to be the winner of the series. But I think the Celtics are going to pull it out. They have the experience. I trust Tatum and Brown. They're too good. Their wings, they win the wing battle. I know Hunter is going to probably guard them or Mobley. But yeah, I just think Celtics in 7. This is going to be a great series, but it's going to be a long series.
Yeah, I got Celtics in 7 too. I mean, my prediction at the start of the year was obviously my Celtics making a repeat. I did not anticipate Cleveland having the year they did. Like I had them in the top 4. I didn't think they were going to have the season that they had, though. So, kudos and credit to them. We split the season series with them this year. Every game was a dogfight. Every game was close. What people do forget, though, is that we were actually a better road team than we were a home team this year. We actually took a step back as a home team this year. And I think that actually can play to our benefit because we will be playing the Cavs being the 1 seed, they will have more home games than us. So I think that is going to be a huge difference maker. And you mentioned the guard matchup. I mean, what we'll probably do is we'll probably throw Derek White on Donovan Mitchell and then Jrue on Darius Garland. And it will just be a battle of who can negate who. You know what I'm saying? Great offense versus great defense on that end. But then the big man matchup. The big man matchup, I think, is huge because Mobley, Mobley and Allen in the playoff series last year, they were a bit, they weren't as battle tested, but they did give us some problems at different points of the games. Um, so that's going to be, to me, like I'm going to be really paying attention to that, because I mentioned with all the guys that the Celtics would throw at Cat, all those are all the same players that are going to be thrown at either those guys, and in reverse, they're both of those guys are great defenders, which will make things for Kristaps, will make things harder for him, will make things more difficult for Horford. Um, but I believe wholeheartedly that it's going to be a 7 game series. It's going to come down to whose offense is going to be clicking more, because I think it's going to be high scoring. So I think it's going to be whose offense is clicking more, and can Boston get stops in the perimeter, and can they get shots in the paint if the three ball isn't falling? Because I, for one, am not a fan of how many threes that we take. Unpopular opinion. Um, I feel like we're a little too 3 point
Yeah.
dependent when we don't need to be.
Yeah.
But uh, I think that perimeter wise, if we can win those matchups, then I think that we're winning the series without doubt. But as long as my blood pressure isn't raised too much, it's a win. So we'll
This guy
see.
said without a doubt.
Yeah,
This guy
that's
said
bold.
without a doubt. No reasonable doubt. Jay-Z, reasonable doubt.
Hey, look, I feel like shout out to Hove. I feel like I feel like it's like the song, bring it on if you think you can hang. If not, then let me do my thing. Like, we're the defending champs. You got to get through. Like, yeah, you might have been the 1 seed, but you got to get
We
through
gotta get
us, because
through us.
we're the last team
Yeah.
to do it, and we had the same amount of wins last year as that they did this year. And honestly, this team is better than last year's team. It's just that injuries and some inconsistency caused
Yeah,
us
he didn't have
to
Porzingis for I think early part of the season. Yeah.
good
So
chunk of the year. He didn't even play 50 games. He played like 41, 42. So they're they're going to be hungry. They want to prove and show that they're not a fluke, that they're for real. People, they're not, Cleveland isn't in the lexicon for NBA history the same way that Boston is. But I still got us winning. But if you're a Cavs fan and you go to 7, you can't be
Yeah.
mad at that. I don't think, because you had a great year, and there still are holes on the team to be addressed. So the fact that you had the year that you did, and most of your core is very young, you're fine. You're good. But if they get blown out, if they get, we beat them in 4 or 5, then that's a whole different topic.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's going to come
definitely.
down.
Marty, you want to go quickly before we
Yeah.
get to the
Just
West?
real quick, it kind of, I think it's going to come down to efficiency and tough shots. What team can create the most efficient offensive looks, and then it's going to also come down to what team can create the toughest shots for the opposing team. Donovan Mitchell is going to score, going to get his points. Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown are going to get their points. What can you do
Right.
to make their life hell on the court? What can you do to create them to be dragged out to shoot more than 15 plus shots and cause them to get fatigued, cause them to get
Yeah.
tired? How can you wear down Donovan Mitchell and force other people to create shots? How can you wear down Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown to create opportunities for D White or Pritchard or Holiday or Porzingis? Like it's going to come down to that strategy and tactic. I feel like for both coaches, um, and it might not even be the case, but I feel like it's going to come down to like how much pressure can you throw on those guys, because those are the 3 top names that you're going to be hearing for that series if they're all healthy at that point. So um, I think 7 game series. As Dylan said, Boston has been playing good on the road this year. I like their chances to get out of the East. And then two, being a reigning champion, like I said, they know the climb they have to go through, and they are determined to prove it's not a fluke. They're determined, and Jason Tatum's determined to show that it wasn't just Jaylen Brown helped me get here. So like I feel like he's going to come with a very mean vengeance come this playoff series, and show the world for sure that he's that dog and that guy. I think this is going to be very important for Jason Tatum to get his redemption for the sake of finals last year, Team USA, and then coming into this year. Like I think he needs this opportunity in this moment. So I got Boston. I got Boston making it out.
Yeah, yeah, definitely got.
No,
Yeah, we all agree Boston. I got Boston in 7. We all say
Yeah,
7
it's gonna
game
be a 7
series.
game. I think just based off of
yeah,
the history of how this season has went for both teams and the dynamic of how those games have been with those teams, it's gonna be a tough series. You look back like even when LeBron and KG and Paul Pierce were all them were on Boston and Cleveland, like those series used to be pretty strong and tough. And like I don't think we've seen Cleveland Boston matchups like this intense in a while since then. So I really do like the energy that this series is going to for sure bring. If that's what we see in the Eastern Conference Finals, obviously based on our projections, but I really feel like that would be a very good, entertaining basketball Eastern Conference Finals matchup for sure.
I'm
Exactly.
gonna say this: if neither OKC or LA makes it to the finals out the
Good luck with
West,
that.
right? If either of them don't, this Eastern Conference matchup will be looked at as the real
Really,
NBA Finals.
yeah,
Kind of like back in 2002 when the Lakers and the Kings, people were saying that was the real NBA Finals because I mean,
Because the
respect
Nets
to
coming out, and the Nets were coming
yeah,
out.
respect to Jason
big
Kidd,
kid.
one of my favorite point guards of all time, but they had no shot in hell. So
Yeah,
um, to that point about Tatum, this series that series is going to be. I mean, he has to be the number one unquestioned every playoff series. But the Cleveland series will be incredibly
Mm-hmm.
instrumental because, like Armani said, he had to deal with all of the detractors saying that, oh, you got carried and you underperformed, you didn't play up to the level that is
Right.
expected of you, and then the debacle at the Olympics, and then just people really trying to find anything that they can to talk down on my dog. So I want Tatum to go out there with like I'm like '09 Kobe out here. Even though I won, or sorry, not '09 Kobe. Let's do 2010 Kobe because he already. But 2010 Kobe in the sense of like you're coming off of winning a championship, but '09 Kobe mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like I need Tatum to go out there looking to kill, looking to dominate, and looking to really put his foot on the city of Cleveland's neck. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, we'll see if
Boots on,
he
butt is
does
out.
that. See if he does that. But yeah, let's quickly get to the Western Conference now. So let's try to go through this one quickly. So West at number 1, we got the Thunder against. We don't know who the AC will be, but it's either going to be either the Warriors or Grizzlies or King Maverick. Is all over the place because we don't know the play in yet. But we can kind of skip that. Whoever the Thunder played AC, we can all pretty much say they're going to either sweep them or gentlemen sweep them. Can we all agree? Whether it's the Grizzlies or if they play the Warriors, I think that would be a little bit more of a series. But I can see the Warriors getting that 7 seed. I'm doing it based on what is that right now. So right now they'll play the Grizzlies. Right now, I see them beating the Grizzlies in 5.
I think
Yeah,
Grizzlies
Yeah,
will be
I
I
don't even
got
want to waste too
I
much
got
time on
Grizzlies
that
will be
one.
a 5-6
Yeah,
game series, just depending upon how John Morant plays. With also
yeah.
the fact of his contributing factors on that team on Memphis side. I feel for Memphis.
They can't guard
Yeah, they
anybody though.
can't
They can't guard
exactly.
nobody.
So they have a lot of.
oh, what
Jaron
about Jaren
Jackson is
Jackson?
a good defensive guy.
They struggle defensively. Outside of him,
Yeah,
it's like damn.
Yeah, well, and they just lost Jalen Walls
yeah.
too, so that's a big loss
The
Yeah,
because he was
Grizzlies,
one of the
he was one of
defenders.
their best defenders, even as a
yeah.
rookie.
So they can't catch a
Hmm.
break this year. I feel like Memphis, they have a good trajectory of future, but I feel like this Thunder team is too much firepower, and I think they should
Yeah,
breeze past it. Everything they went through last year and going up to this year and getting to this point again, like coach like Mark, like they have a good system going on over there at OKC, regardless of Shea's production and play. Like that team is clicking really well, and their chemistry is at a top tier level. to why they're at the testament to why they're at the one
Fucking on
seed.
all cylinders.
So I got them coming out for sure, probably
All
4 or 5 games.
yeah. I like no matter who they play, whether it's Memphis or if it's Golden State. Golden State, I think, could give them more of a challenge
Yeah, with
because they're
Jimmy
veteran
Butler and
and they have more
Draymond. Yeah,
experience.
for sure.
Battle tested champion Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry,
Yeah,
Draymond Green. I think that would be a 6 game series. I'll give it favor of OKC because OKC has too much firepower offensively, and then defensively they're elite
yeah,
too. So
Yeah.
it's just too much coming at you, and then Shea to me is the MVP of the league. Like nobody can
yeah.
guard this dude.
He's
Nobody
MVP
can
for
guard
sure.
this dude. And A Dub who can get you 20 plus as well.
Mhm.
He can guard up to. You have a rim protector and Chet Holmgren. You have a big body down low and Isaiah Hartenstein. You got some experience off the bench championship and Alex Caruso, who's an elite perimeter defender. Who was all defense last year, who can guard up on Curry. It's going to try to make his life hard. So whoever they play, whether they play Memphis, Caruso could guard up on Morant, or if they play Golden State, he can guard up on Curry. I either see them playing one of those two teams. I don't see no Dallas Mavericks or Sacramento
Yeah,
Kings getting the AFC. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, but I just don't see. I don't see. I don't see. Hey, if you make it, great. But you're getting swept by the OKC Thunder. So I don't want to waste too much time
yeah,
on this one. But so we all got OKC. Whoever, if they play Memphis in 5, or Marnie said 6. But if they play Golden State, to me, I have them beating Golden State
yeah,
in 6. So we'll try to do a series now where we know where the matchup's going to be. So we'll skip 2-7 right now. Rockets. I think they'll play the Warriors that they played right now. But we'll skip that one for now. Let's go to the Lakers and Timberwolves, man. Are you out there in Cali, Armani, man? How you feeling about your Lakers, man? The Lake
team's
Show.
looking really good. Overall, like I couldn't even be more happy. I mean, I got my shirt on right now, but anyways, like back to the point about our team. Like I had a lot of questions going into the season, and then obviously we made the big trade for Luka Doncic. I think it's literally unlocked a whole level of gameplay for us. I think the Lakers, what we've been needing is a primary ball handling, shot creating guard. We have that now. I don't think there's no more issues of fluidity coming from the offensive end of the side of the ball for the guard play. And the surprising factor about it, you got LeBron James in there, and LeBron James has even kind of gave him that baton to be like, hey, you be the guy, Luka, and we'll lead off of you, and we're going to let you play. And then shout out to Austin Reeves, man. Like Austin Reeves has been like hooping for real, and it's been a contributing factor for this team. So I think we look pretty good. If us playing against Minnesota at the 6th spot, like I feel like that's a good matchup for us. And if we had to play Minnesota last year, I think it would be like, okay, I don't know, but this team this year, like I said, we talked about Minnesota a lot this year, you guys, and I've seen them regress really bad. Besides Ant-Man, so I feel like we can breeze past them in 4 to 5 games. Ant may be able to sneak one out in game 3, possibly 4, but I think Luka is being who he is right now. I think he's going to even take a higher climb. Even just being in the LA market, I feel like his name is starting to get branded way better to where he's getting that attention that he deserves, being like a top 5 player in the NBA for sure. And our role players have been really good. I mean, we have Dorian Finney-Smith, Rui's playing pretty solid minutes and playing good production on the offensive side of the ball. Jared Vanderbilt's healthy right now, which is I feel like is a very strong additional piece to that team for his defensive versatility with him and Dorian Finney-Smith. And then Jackson Hayes, I will say, losing AD and how Jackson Hayes has been playing, like he has been doing what he's needed to do. We don't need you to be AD. We don't need you to go put up 20 and 15, but he's doing what he needs to do, and that's what matters. It's just kind of like how Luka had his centers last year on this Dallas team. That's where they got a finals run. Just provide energy and create an impact on the game. So I really like us. I like our team right now. I feel like we've been playing really good and connecting on all cylinders. I see us not breezing, but we'll get past Minnesota in 4 to 5 games, I feel like.
Yeah. No, I feel you, man. Yeah, LeBron and Luka's gonna be too much for
it's a great tandem,
man. I'm sorry. It's just too much, man. The two of the top cerebral minds in NBA outside of Jokic is like on the same team, and they're 6'8". They can see over the defense, pretty much anybody. That's a cheat code, man. Like, and Luka has gotten his groove back, man. He dropped 45 against his former team in that ceremonial, emotional tribute against the Mavericks. He looked like old Luca right there, man. He's starting to look like back
Yeah,
to
he
his
is.
form now. I know when he first came back, he's coming from injury, trying to get back in shape, so he wasn't really there yet. But he's starting to look like that old Luca, and I expect that in the playoffs, man. He's one of the greatest playoff performers ever, second in points per game behind Jordan in playoff history. So expect him to come in with a vengeance. And he's playing against Chicken Liver, man. Rudy Gobert. You know what he did against Rudy last year? But he said, you can't guard. No, he was. I expect that Luca in the postseason. He's going to be chicken dinner, man. And LeBron at 40 catching lobs. I saw that lob the other day against the Rockets. I'm like, whoa, like I was like, how is he doing this at 40? Dude is a cyborg. I'm like, yeah. I love Anthony Edwards, but outside of him, I'm worried about the Timberwolves scoring. Like, if he has an off game or he's tired, because he's gonna have to guard up on Luka, LeBron, or Reeves. He's gonna have to guard one of them. When he gets tired and transpirated, Julius Randle bully ball does not work in the postseason. We've seen that. Gobert is a liability in the postseason. Gobert is a liability in the postseason. Like, who else do you? I know Naz Reid is great, but I just don't think that's it. Jaden McDaniels. He could do his thing, but they just don't have enough defensively. I think they're good.
Our forwards are good.
Defensively, they could throw guys.
Our forwards are pretty good, and that they're defensive minded. When we have size in the regards of having Rui, like I said, Dorian Finney-Smith and Vando, they'll be able to contest and compete against those guys. Even Julius Randle. Like Julius Randle bully ball, it only works so much, but it's very inefficient basketball, and that's not going to win you games in playoff time. It's not.
Yeah, it's just not. And then when teams are in the playoffs, they know they strategize against you better because they know they're game planning for you only now. Like, it's totally different brand of basketball than the regular season. And then you also have the Timberwolves. They do have guys they can throw at LeBron. They have tall guys, lengthy guys, Naz Reid, Dylan Daniels. Like, they have guys to throw at them. Yeah. So it's like they do have some guys they can throw at them, but I just don't think the offense is enough. So, like, I'm gonna try to do my best Shannon Sharp impersonation. LeBron James, Freight Train, Candy Cane, Bruce Wayne. They can survive.
True. No, that's true.
Shout out Shannon Sharp, man.
That was funny.
I had to come with one, you know?
I do agree. I do agree, though. I think, you know what, though? I'm going to say this, though. There's never a better opportunity for Anthony Edwards to really, really back up all the talk than this series.
Sure.
This series, if he upsets the Lakers,
that'd be crazy.
If he finds a way to, then, you know, all the critique that I had about with him of like, look, bro, like you that dude, you nice, but I want you to play more and talk less. And, you know, now he's dealing with the stuff, you know, with the mamas and whatnot.
You don't want to say it.
So it's like if there couldn't be a better opportunity than right now. This is the series. This is make or break. I mean, it's the first round matchup, but this is make or break for him for this year. You know, moving forth. I mean, he's young, so he's got plenty of more time. But for this year, with all of the, because I feel like he like for no real reason decided to turn heel when he like everybody was ready to crown him last year, myself included. And this year he decided to turn heel, and it was like, bro, why? Like, you're okay, but each his own, but like, why? You don't really need to. But this will be, if he at least performs well, I think people will still extend him that same leniency and grace of like, all right, because you've been kind of wilding this year. You've been kind of wilding.
Yeah.
In a lot, you know, and people have been feeling like you should.
The league in 3-point makes this season and posters. I mean, the dude could do it all, man.
But the talent and skill is undeniable and unquestionable. Yeah. So yeah, but the Lakers, too much firepower. You have 3 20-point scorers. You have,
if he can make it a 6-game series, I'll be like, yeah, salute to Ant, man, salute.
Yeah, no. So I got the Lakers winning. I got the Lakers in a gentleman's sweep 5. I do think Ant is good enough to at least get one win, but overall, you mentioned Julius Randle and Gobert. That's not enough. Yeah. And Dante DiVincenzo. I got Reeves winning.
Not to even mention him.
Yeah, he's nice.
He's a baller too. But
New York is missing him. right.
Yeah, I just
I like DiVincenzo. He's a tough player, but Reeves is winning that matchup all day.
yeah, easily,
Real quick
easily.
though,
Lakers and
I do want to
Yeah.
shout out. I want to shout out JJ Redick first year as head coach for the Lakers, and not 50
Oh
wins,
yeah, yo,
50 wins,
JJ
3 seed. Like no matter what happens this year,
in the first
yeah,
year
no
coaching,
matter
it's
what,
crazy.
like, and anything can happen in the playoffs, and we all know that. But regardless, like, I do want to shout out JJ Redick. I feel like coming from the player side to becoming a coach, like, it's hard to transition at times, but I feel like his IQ and his game and his attention to detail, he has this team locked in and engaged as possible, as highest regard as possible. So I did want to say that only because the play and the talent that we have on this team is second to none good. But at the same time, I feel like JJ has instilled a lot of confidence in those guys and has allowed people to buy into that role because he was a role player in the NBA. Coming out of Duke, he was a star, and then came to the NBA, he was a role player. So he's helped a lot of those guys on our team get into that role and accept their role so that they can get to the greater regard of trying to win a championship. So I do want to acknowledge that and shout that. That is a
Yeah,
strong piece of our team for sure. So obviously our players are great,
yeah.
but
Shout
that's
out
a
to
strong
JJ,
piece
man.
though.
That
Real talk.
yeah, shout out to JJ. That interview with Mind the Game last year with LeBron, that was
Yeah,
a great one. That was some great
yeah.
interviews right there. But that chemistry.
Uh,
All right,
he
so
aced his job interview.
Basically,
yeah,
That's
basically.
how it was. But
Real talk. Yeah.
no, and to that point, no, as a Celtics fan, like, look, my prediction still is Celtics Thunder, but I would love for a Celtics Lakers series because
I mean that'll be great too.
2010,
That's my most favorite
I'll never
finals.
forget. I
I know
want
you
my
do.
get back. So I want it to be like, oh wait, so
We'll
so
get
to that point though, I really feel like the Lakers, the Luka trade that was a like
Yeah,
no one saw that coming, but
uh,
Luka has been playing lights
yeah,
out basketball this last month especially,
yeah,
and I would love for the matchup in the finals to be Tatum versus Luka because I feel
I
like
think
their career projection has been very similar. Um, so
yeah.
that would be that is a dream matchup, but I do have OKC coming out the West, but shout out to JJ Redick as a Duke fan, one of my favorite Duke players of all time. I used to defend him when a lot of people was like, "Why the hell you like JJ Redick?" But
Jay Redick,
shout out to Redick though.
3-point shooter
He did his
Shout out to
thing.
for sure.
All right. So the next series we got, we'll do these quickly. All right. So Rockets are number 2. I feel like they're going to play the Warriors most likely. So we'll just quickly go through that. I have the Warriors beating the Rockets. I have that game. I say Warriors in 6. I think the Warriors' experience is going to help them. Rockets, I know they're young, fast. They're really athletic. They can really defend too. We saw what they did. They beat OKC the other day. I was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
And Sangoon is an all-star big. Like I know they don't have a superstar yet, but the one thing that's with this team for me is they don't have the experience, they're inexperienced, and they don't have a superstar down the stretch when, you're down by 1 or 2, 10 seconds to go, your ball, no timeouts left, who you giving it to? Who's
Yeah,
taking us home? That's what I'm worried about with this team. The Warriors, you got guys like Jimmy who can get that for you, or Steph who can create those shots for you. So I just think the Warriors, I think they'll end up getting that 7th seed and beating the Grizzlies, even though the Grizzlies have beaten them in the playing before. They're 0-3 in playing games in history. But I think with Jimmy Butler out with that team, I think they'll get that 7th
and
seed and match up with the Rockets. But I think the Warriors will beat them in 6. So I just want to say that quickly. You guys agree or?
I don't know.
I
That's
got the
tough.
Rockets. I mean,
Oh, you got the.
doing
Quickly,
that one. Look,
say why. Quickly say why.
respect to Golden State. Steph is one of my favorite players of all time, and you can never count the Warriors out. But I think the Rockets are for real. I think they're a legitimate team. And I mentioned Jalen Green earlier. This how I said how all eyes are going to be on Ant. I do feel like there are a lot of people who are waiting to see Jalen Green take that huge leap because
He was
if
a superstar.
if Ant is seen as like baby Jordan, then Jalen Green, was getting a lot of baby Kobe comparisons. So this series will be huge for him because you mentioned they don't have that. It's not fully established who their closer is, and this would be the perfect series for Jalen Green to show the world who he is and also to take that necessary leap because he didn't necessarily take it this year. Like he he had stretches of the year where it looked like, yes, I'm here, I've arrived. Cade who? But it was not consistent enough versus how Cade was. But I do think that this would be a great series for Jalen Green to really break out. But then you still have a very deep team with Van Vliet. I love Amen Thompson. He's one of my favorite young players in the game right now. I think the matchup versus him and Jimmy is going to be very fun to watch. That's a player that I see very like on a physical end. They're very similar. Um, but then for Draymond, you got someone like Dylan Brooks that you can throw at him. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be fun to watch. And then you still got guys like Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, Cam Whitmore. I mean, this Rockets team is a very deep team, and they are progressing and they play hard. They play hard defense. That's one thing about Coach Udoka is that he's not going to have a team that isn't going to play hard defense. So I personally and respect to Steve Kerr, but I don't feel like he'd be doing a crazy amount out there when it comes to adjustments and stuff like that. And it's shown. It's shown. You know what I'm saying? And they're not at the same level that they were, 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. So I
So,
think I I got the Rockets. I got the
ooh,
Rockets going in
spicy.
6.
Rockets in what, 6?
Rockets in 6. Yeah, I still think to that point about the pedigree, the experience. Golden State wins that, so they'll. I think they can win. They can win a game in Houston, and they'll win. They can win. They can win it, or they can win both their games at home. But I think Houston is going to surprise people this year.
What about you, Armani?
I'm conflicted, bro,
If you had
because
one.
being from California, I'm conflicted because I really want Jalen Green to succeed really bad. I want him to win. He went to San Joaquin Memorial. That's a school up north of Bakersfield,
Oh, I
and
thought,
so like I really want him to kind of have his show out moment, kind of like we want Cade. Like if you want Cade to succeed, I feel like you should want Jalen Green to succeed because like those are the two like people that are like the top two
top
in
pick.
their class period.
That's a rivalry.
But
That's,
no,
and
they
they
don't at
don't
all.
like each other.
And
It's a
so
rivalry,
yeah, so I
and I
want
love
I
it.
want both of them to succeed. And I look at Houston. They have a lot of young talent that can really progress. They kind of reminded me a lot like this OKC team that we seen last year. Not probably to the same extent, but they have the talent. Is what I'm trying to say. And Sangoon is really good all around
Yeah.
center. You got one of my other favorite players on that team is Cam Whitmore. He played against the Lakers the other day. Dude popped off. Lakers, obviously, we got a good, strong win against them, but Cam Whitmore kind of showed like he can compete against high level talent in the league. So I think it's going to come down to the experience, though, with Jimmy Butler, Draymond, and Steph. I think they've been clicking really well together. They're still a hot team despite whatever circumstances they went up against yesterday against LA, against the Clippers. So I'm gonna probably say 6 game series. I think Golden State gets out of this only because this team that is constructed by the Warriors, they have the pieces they need to get through the first round. I don't know how far this team will go as we continue to talk, but I think that
Yeah,
this
I
team
don't know
has
either.
the physicality, has the IQ, has the mindset, has the experience. Jimmy Butler's been there before to the finals. Steph Curry, Draymond, like they're going to lead the ship how they need to get this team through. So I say 6 game series.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, that's great.
because the thing
Okay.
is,
Okay.
some of the young guys in Golden State,
Moody,
Moody,
Pazinski's
Bpod,
over there.
Trace Jackson Davis. I think I like them
Mhm.
all as players, but I like the young guys in Houston a little bit
Oh, the
more.
young guys in
You know what I'm
Yeah, the
Houston
young
got
saying?
guys
way
in
more
Houston are
talent
better.
compared to the young guys in Golden State.
Thompson,
Yeah.
Thompson,
Yeah.
Easton, Smith
Yeah.
Jr., Cam Whitmore. Cam Whitmore to me could be a starter in a lot of teams.
He's a
He
plug and
just
play
he's
guy
just
too.
playing
You
behind
just need to
D.
put him in a system where he just let him cook. Like he's good. Yeah.
They get a bucket. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's gonna be good. It's gonna
So
be a good
yeah.
series
So
though.
yeah. So me and Armani
I got
got
Golden
Golden
State.
State. Dylan got Houston. All right. Let's go see. Go to
Houston
the
It's
next.
not hard.
H-Town.
It's not a bad. It's
Yeah.
not bad to pick and not even to defend, but it's not bad to pick Houston either, just based upon how talented this team has been this year.
Yeah.
So like I don't discredit Houston. I'm not
They've been
sleeping on
great. They've
Houston
been
at
great
all.
this season.
They're a good team.
I would be shocked if
Yeah,
they
they
upset the
can do it.
Warriors. All right. So the next series, we got Denver Nuggets and the LA Clippers, 4 or 5 seed matchup. Our last one for the first round of the West before we get to the semifinals. So this one is, man, Jokic, man. I mean, this Nuggets team, y'all just fired y'all coach, man. I don't know how y'all feeling mentally. It's different playoffs, man.
Mm-hmm.
First center to average a triple double in a
That's true.
season. First 30-20-20 game in NBA history. You're a walking triple double. But man, you just lost your first coach, who's been your only coach in the NBA since you came into the league. I don't know how you feeling, man. Jamal Murray, I know you just came
Mm-hmm.
back from your hamstring injury, but you've been hampered by injuries here and there, knickknacks. Michael Porter Jr. is hot and cold sometimes. And then their bench is just not what it used to be 2 years ago. They kind of got they didn't want to sign those veterans. They rely on young guys. Only young guys kind of panned out is Christian Brown because he took that leap this year. But I don't. The Clippers, they've been playing great ball. Kawhi's been looking like Kawhi again. He looks spry in his movements. He's moving well. I was watching the game yesterday. Him and James Harden going off, both dropping over 30. I'm like, damn, James Harden looking step 37 points. Kawhi had 30 down the stretch, hitting clutch buckets against the Golden State Warriors. First, some key turnovers. Kawhi had some key turnovers forced on Stephen Curry. That's how they won that game because they forced some key turnovers. I know Draymond missed that layup everybody's laughing about, but it was some key turnovers too down the stretch. I don't blame it fully on Draymond. They had some key
There's some breakdowns.
instances
They
down
have
there where they could
breakdowns.
have had some different, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, some breakdown. So it wasn't just the layup. People, if you look at the details, like the other possessions before then, they could have wished they had those possessions back. But I have Jokic beating the Clippers. I know the Clippers are great. Zubac is, I think he can match up well. Hey, Zubac, top five
He
center in the
is
league, man. This guy's a
productive.
double
Productive.
machine.
It's very
He,
productive.
yeah, and productive. When he first came in the league in 2016, I would have never predicted he'd be this good. I mean, this guy was he had like baby fat on him. He came into the league at 19. I did not expect him to be this good. But hey, shout out to the Clippers developmental staff, man. And ever since he got traded from the Lakers, man, I know the Lakers. I know y'all kind of wish y'all had him.
Yeah,
So a man in
he's
the middle
nice,
like
bro.
that, if y'all
He's
had
nice.
that, I would have y'all come out the
He's
West. So,
nice.
and I love OKC, but I would have y'all coming out the West. He had a sick poster on Draymond. I'm like, damn, Zubac, chill out. I'm like, chill, man,
Yeah.
chill.
He's
I'm
like,
like, oh, we get it, good, we get it. They have a big three, man, and Clippers. I think they're gonna make this a series. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat the Nuggets because I feel like if Jokic, they're gonna exhaust him. They're gonna make him work. They're gonna get physical with him. But I just think Jokic's brilliance, the way he just sees things on the court, even when his eyes in the back of his head, it's insane. I got Nuggets in 6. I think Jamal Murray's going to take it up. You know, in the playoffs, he always steps it up a notch. I think outside of Harden and Zubac and Kawhi, like say one of them has a bad game or something, who else steps up? That's what I'm interested in seeing. I know they have Norman Powell too, so I can't forget him. He's had an incredible season. Like they have 4 legit guys who can get you a bucket. So that's what I'm worried about with the Nuggets. Like, and defensively, the Nuggets have struggled all season. They're not a good defensive team, and we love Jokic, but he's not a rim protector. So I think I see this series going 6, 7 games. But I'm gonna give it to Jokic. This guy's the best player in the league, man. This guy, and he takes over in the post. He always rises. He's a playoff riser. So I got Nuggets in 6.
I got Clippers.
Ooh, we differ again.
I got Clippers in 7.
Ooh,
Now, the reason why I have the Clippers in 7 is when people were watching the bubble, the only way that you could stop Jokic is by putting another big body, someone who could bang down there low, down there with him. Zubac, Zubac is one of my favorite underrated big men because I feel like his style of play is very much more so from more so as a player of like a 90s 2000s type of player, but he really runs the floor. That's one thing, and Jokic is more going to slow you down. Try to he's using his IQ, utilizing his skill, and Jokic has had an MVP caliber year. Even though I think Shea is going to win MVP. Michael Porter Jr. has been playing a little bit better recently. Russell Westbrook, to me, definitely has earned some 6-man consideration. You still have Aaron Gordon, who takes a lot of those matchups guarding the best players. But I got the Clippers. I feel like Kawhi still has more in the tank. And one thing to me about Kawhi is I feel like Kawhi is one of those wild card players where he could have a 2019 run. Like he is a talent. He is the type of talent that you cannot count out. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the backcourt scoring of Kawhi, Norman Powell, and Harden, Jamal Murray has been kind of up and down this year. So I got the Clippers winning that one. It's not going to be an easy series for them, and Denver is one of the best teams. Is one of the best teams at home, but I think their offensive firepower combined with the defensive play of guys like Derrick Jones Jr., Chris Dunn, and then Kawhi is one of the greatest defenders ever. That's going to make things difficult. And then you have a shooter like Bogdan Bogdanovic, who's one of my favorite European players as well. Just always
Yeah.
consistently able to get efficient shots up. So yeah, I got Clippers winning that one actually. Shout out to Denver though, but I got the Clippers winning that one.
That's what's up. Armani, I don't think his camera's displaying on mic. I don't think he can hear us. Armani, hear us? Yeah, it's still messing up. But yeah, the Clippers and Nuggets, man. I think that series is the center matchup is gonna be one to watch, man. Zubac could have arguably been an All-Star this year, honestly, as a reserve.
Could easily.
He could have easily been an All-Star, but the NBA is so loaded, it's just hard. But yeah, Jokic, I just think his wizardry with the basketball, his IQ and everything is second to none. But on the wings though, Kawhi, he's gonna match up with Porter, who I mean he's gonna guard him and give him some havoc on both ends of the court.
MPJ was the top player in me and Armani's graduating year. And one of my friends and me and him, we got a whole back and forth about Michael Porter Jr. He was just like, because he doesn't, Michael Porter doesn't pass. He takes some ill-advised shots. But I still would have Kawhi winning that matchup. I do feel like Michael Porter Jr. does get underrated, but I also feel like due to all the back injuries that he had, we'll never see the player that he was in high school. And I was just saying, Armani, that he was, I know you remember, he was the top player in our class when we were.
Yeah, Nathan Hale. He went to Nathan Hale.
So I feel like
he was a lead. I thought he was like a Klay Thompson KD hybrid.
I thought he was the next KD. He was going to be the next KD, low key.
And not for those back issues. Oh my God!
I thought he would be running the league. So I could admit when I was wrong, but I just feel like this year, I feel like the Clippers have been counted out so much, and everyone's been so, oh my God, the Lakers. So I feel like they're going to come out there
under the radar for sure, even with their new dome.
Yeah, the new stadium, like they're like, wait, but what about us?
I've heard great things about it. Everybody said it's fire. Like it's So
it's nice, bro. I pass by there all the time. It's really nice. It's a really nice arena.
Who you got?
I'm looking at. I got Clippers. Reason being, I watched the game yesterday. Clippers and Warriors game. That game was pretty. Kawhi looks good, bro. I feel like Kawhi's looking like Kawhi back in Toronto. Kawhi's looking like Kawhi back in San Antonio.
Yeah.
If he can stay healthy, it's going to get really tough going to the second and trying to get to that semifinal conference final matchup because Harden's playing good. And when I say Harden's playing good, Harden took a lot of weight this year, and he took a lot of responsibility this year for this team, for the simple fact of Kawhi not being there. But it's not just them two, because you have Norman Powell, you got Derrick Jones Jr., you got Chris Dunn, you got Izvika Subak, Amir Coffey. Like the team got a lot of depth if you really look at it. And that team produces really well. I mean, Ben Simmons comes off the bench and he produces. I mean, he's not Ben Simmons of what we've seen in Philly, but he's doing enough to help that team out. Like they got pieces is what I'm trying to say. And so I think that Harden, it's kind of surprising to me because I wouldn't, you would have hoped Paul George and Kawhi to work out, but the the James Harden and Kawhi Leonard tandem together, it's been actually not that bad, to be honest.
Yeah,
And they both are producing numbers. Harden cooks up, does what he needs to do. Kawhi cooks up, does what he needs to do. I think that the only thing I worry about with the team, and it happened yesterday, and for the clinching bucket to get to overtime or not, like who do you have taking that last shot when it comes down to it? You either have Harden or you got Kawhi. I mean, you got Norman Powell that can knock down a shot, but
yeah, Norman.
it's going to come down to, I feel like, for them, because they're going to get in some crunch game moments as they do, because they're a scrappy team. Like, they're good and they can compete, but they scrap a lot too. So it's just going to come down to who do they want to be the alpha for that team in the playoffs. But I got them beating Denver. The only reason why I say they beat Denver is only because Jokic, we already know Jokic is going to do what Jokic does. But I just think after losing Coach Malone and the transition that this team is currently at right now, I don't know how they're feeling. I really don't know how they're feeling. I'm really not rocking with them right now, like for the simple fact, like Jamal Murray's coming back, but he's been injury plagued a little bit. Michael Porter Jr., he can shoot the ball really well, and Aaron Gordon, we know what he's going to be able to do if he's playing, but I just think it comes down to just more so the productivity on the other side for the Clippers. So I think they're going to be able to impact the game more so than the Nuggets possibly could. So I'll say that I got Clippers going out of it in 6.
Oh, that's a good one. Damn.
Yeah.
All right. So you got Clippers over Nuggets 2-1 majority. So we got Clippers advancing. All right. So
Yeah.
now,
That's a good one, though.
yeah, second round. So we had Warriors, 2, me and Armani, and then over the Rockets. So we'll have the Warriors advance. So and we'll have the Clippers.
Yeah. Yeah. It go either way. But yeah.
We'll
Rockets,
do it by majority.
Let's say, all right. Well, for sake of it, we'll say Steph. Steph just continues to show he's Steph.
Top 12 player of all time, bro. I'm just saying.
Jimmy Butler activates play. Oh, dang! I did forget though. Playoff Jimmy is one of the best playoff performers ever. So can't forget about him. So okay, for the sake of it, so you're saying that matchup is Golden State and the Clippers?
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh, that's actually
that's gonna be a good second round. That's gonna be a good matchup.
There's a lot of bad blood with those teams too.
Yeah, Steph does not, and then Harden and Steph, like they're same. I believe they're same draft class too. Like they're one of the only few.
Actually, Clippers will play the Thunder because they're a 5 seed, so it'll be the Thunder in the second round.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they getting there behind whooped. And well, Thunder Clippers second round we got, and then we got the Warriors will play. So the 2 and 7 play 3 and 6, I believe.
So Lakers will end up playing against the Rockets or the Warriors.
So yeah, I'm just gonna do split. So Lakers, I got Lakers beating the Warriors. I have Lakers in 6. I think, like I said, it's battle of the veterans. But I just think Luka and LeBron are too much tacticians on the floor, and I just think they have some firepower. And they've been playing. They won 17 of the last 20 games. So I just want to say that quickly. So Lakers in 6 when they get this.
Yeah, Lakers in 6 on that one. I mean,
Lakers in 6. Yeah,
I would love to see Steph do to make that upset. Obviously, as a Celtics fan, I would love to see the Lakers lose. But as an NBA fan, who does want to see a Celtics Lakers finals at some point again in his lifetime? For the sake of it, I think LA in 6. Steph is still good enough to get you to 6 games, but outside of that, though, I think the Lakers just all around. That roster is much more well balanced and much more versatile.
Yeah. And then Clippers Thunder. I got Thunder in 5. I just think Thunder too much. I think Kawhi and Harden could get you 1 game, but I just think just how well rounded the Thunder are. I have them going to the West Conference Finals against the Lakers.
I do too. Yeah, that's my prediction.
I think that. So I'm gonna be a little bit different. I feel like that's gonna be a 6-7 game series, and I think Thunder are gonna win, but I feel like it's gonna be a 6-7 game series if Kawhi's healthy. Because
good point.
I don't think. Yeah, that's it. I don't think, and I understand the Thunder are red hot, and they got that whole system going down. But when you look at Kawhi, who has experience, you look at James Harden, who has experience in those moments, I feel like Kawhi this is going to be a good platform for Kawhi this playoff series if he's healthy. to kind of show who he is and kind of show that, hey, I'm still that dude. I'm still a top 5 player when I'm healthy. I'm still a top 5 guy in the NBA who can produce and win games and win and compete. So um, I don't see that being a cakewalk if he's healthy, but if he's injury laden doubt, I think OKC does pull it off in 5. But it's going to depend. It's going to depend. I don't think that second round matchup with the Clippers, if they make it, is going to be easy for them. But they can get it done for the Thunder. I think SGA, like I said, he's MVP in my brain, no question. And the system that they have, they'll be able to get to the Western Conference Finals and make that jump this year.
Yeah, and then
Wasn't
Thunder.
Norman Powell on that 2019 Raptors team as well?
Yeah,
Yeah, think so. Yeah,
He's got championship
they got
experience as well.
experience, bro. They have experience.
That's the only thing that's the only concern I have with OKC is experience. But
Mm.
talent wise, that's the
Yeah,
best team.
talent's there. Yeah.
That's the best team. They were the best. They were the best team this year.
Mhm.
But yeah, they do have
Yeah.
some growing pains. But I think Shea is ready, and I think this is his moment. This is his time. So I got them. You know, I will give the Clippers 6.
6.
But
Actually, yeah, I think
OKC,
we'll 6. I think we'll say Thunder and 6. Thunder and 6.
yeah.
It's going to be a 6-game series.
6-game series.
Mhm.
All right, so we got Thunder and Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. I think this is going to be one hell of a series. I mean, offensive firepower to the max.
Yep.
Like LeBron,
No, for
Luca,
real.
Shea, J Dub, Chet. Woo! Man, is
Yeah.
it July 4th in here or what?
Yeah,
This
it's going to be fireworks for sure.
and this series is going, I think, 6-7 games. And
I got 7 automatically.
I got
I'm
7.
going to give the edge
I
to
got
the
7.
Thunder because they have more height and the size advantage down in the middle than the Lakers do.
Yes.
I feel like the Lakers gonna get out rebounded. They got Hartenstein down in there, got Chet down there, and then I think SGA and J. I know Lakers have a better number 2, whether you think that's Luca or LeBron. Yeah, but I think SGA he cancels out any whoever Luca or LeBron because he's right up there in terms of superstardom and offensive productivity. And then Caruso can go out there and guard. You have other guys who can knock Aaron Wiggins off the bench. He can give you 20, 25. Like I seen him drop 30. I remember watching one game earlier. I'm like, this dude, the offensive firepower they have off the bench and their depth, I think it's gonna make it tough for the Lakers. I know Reeves does his thing. He's gonna do his thing too. He's been playing great basketball as of late. But this is the well-roundedness of OKC. But LeBron, I think, and Luka, they're gonna look at the weaknesses of the Thunder because they're cerebral minds. They don't know every defensive scheme they throw at them, and I think that's what's gonna make it a long series. I would not be shocked if the Lakers beat them because I either got Thunder or the Lakers coming out. Because LeBron and Luka, LeBron's seen everything. LeBron's seen every defensive scheme. He calls the stuff out before he knows everything.
He knows game. Yeah, he knows game.
Yeah, so it's like,
no,
I got Thunder 7. I think this goes 7.
I think this is a 7 series as well. But I think that one thing that I think a key will be that big man matchup because can Jackson Hayes can he hold it down versus Chet versus Hartenstein and is Jalen Williams coming back?
Yeah, he's gonna play. He should be
playing. So that's
there's no news saying that he wasn't playing.
Okay, so yeah, so that's where they lose out on. Now, backcourt wise, Shea, J-Dub, Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, Kaysen Wallace, Caruso, Lou Dort. I mean, they're AJ Mitchell, they're loaded. They've got the guys that are coming off the bench would be starters on any team that doesn't have a top tier guy already there. So
Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, those guys are starters on another team for sure.
Easy. Mm-hmm. And I feel like OKC, given that there was so much attention on them during the KD and Westbrook era, I feel like this is the perfect series for them, especially going up against the Lakers, which is ironic because if you recall and remember, 2010 was their first playoff appearance, and they played against the Lakers, and that was like the first kind of like introduction of who OKC was to the world. I mean, like if he was a hoops head, you knew, but for to the
Yeah,
average.
KD, Westbrook, and Harden. Yeah,
And that was they were young. They were so there's some similarities in this scenario here. The only difference is that they're not facing a defending champion LA. You know what I'm saying? They're facing an LA team that is trying to
yeah.
get to the championship. And on the other end, OKC is a team that felt like they should have been in the finals last year. And many people thought they were going to be in the finals last year. So this is a huge series for them. But I'm same point. I'm not surprised if LA does win, but it's a 7-game series either way.
Who you got? Thunder?
OKC. Yeah.
Let me see. What
OKC,
about you,
yeah.
Armani? LA, Cali native.
Yeah.
I'm going for my. I'm a ride for my team,
Hell
bro.
yeah, you better.
And the only reason why, a big reason why, bro. Like, I really want to see Boston and LA play in the finals, like really bad. Like I've been talking about it all year. I think that's what the league needs again. It's sort of it's the greatest rivalry in all sports, one of. But when it comes down to it, I think what we have is the versatility to outrun the Thunder. Maybe when we run our small ball action or we run our lineup with all of our forwards, um, we have a lot of cut actions. JJ Redick runs a lot of backdoor actions, runs a lot of DHO actions to where he's able to slice you guys out and create a ball rotation to where somebody gets misaligned. As smart and as tactical as OKC Thunder have been this year, I don't know if they'll be able to continuously execute to stop that consistently. That's just going down. It's going to go down to schematics and IQ for the Lakers to win this series. That's all I have to say. Firepower, talent wise, like OKC Thunder has them beat, but when you can't count out LeBron James, you can't count out Luka Doncic in those moments when it comes down to IQ, when it comes down to trying to make a play and be a hero. Like I think that's where the Lakers can get that edge and win them and beat them in that series. I say 6-7 games, too, only because it's going to be a tough test for both teams. Regardless, it's going to be interior wise. The Thunder are going to kill. The Thunder are going to probably get a lot of touches in the paint, but the Lakers benefit if they can knock down shots, if they can get those shots rolling in for the 3-point line. Luka's step back, side step moves, and LeBron driving, kicking out to that corner weak side. Like I think we have a good chance to win. I don't want to count us out to say that, oh well, because the Thunder are red hot, like we can't. We've beat them before,
Oh,
and they beat
Suns
us
won
before
27
too.
recently.
Yeah, like we beat them, they beat us. I feel like it's an even matchup for us to be able to compete and see where we line up and stack up against them. Um, the main thing that's going to come down to it, who we're going to keep throwing at Shea and try to disrupt his life, make his life difficult, whether it's Finney Smith, whether it's Vando, whether it's Rui, Reeves, whoever. Like they're gonna have to throw out bodies at Shea to try to just throw off his game. You can't really throw off his game because he has a good pace and flow of rhythms. He's gonna get his points, but I ultimately feel like if you can disrupt him and force the ball into the hands of other people to make plays, that's where it'll give us an advantage to try to win that series and compete. So I got us in 6-7, and we play the Celtics in the finals.
Damn. So me and Dylan get the Thunder to the finals.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all got it.
Yeah. So this is what we predicted before the season too. We had OKC and the Celtics in the finals,
Yeah.
man.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
what we
mean, look,
predicted.
I would love for there to be a Celtics Lakers final. Same point of Armani. It's the greatest rivalry
Mm-hmm.
in sports. There's so much history, and the league is better when they're the top teams, when they're the teams that are driving the discourse and conversation. But I do feel like OKC has, in within the last decade has definitely emerged as a team that people are familiar with and resonate with. But it was the fact that they had all world talent like KD, like Russell Westbrook, like James Harden. And I think Shea is at that level. I feel like this year answered any doubt. So it just all comes down to producing in the playoffs. To the point about LA, with their schematics, I do feel like they are going to throw a lot of interest. They're going to have to be very creative with their defensive approach because that is where having a defensive ace on the perimeter would be so key and so crucial because we know, respect to Luka, but he's not a defender. And LeBron at this stage of his career is can still play as a weak side defender, but he's not going to be on ball like really up in your grill. So that's
That's
where
true.
Jared Vanderbilt is going to have to really, really, really be on point. And I've been noticing these last few games, he's kind of been a little bit, I don't want to say like, what's the way to put it? Feels like he's just been he's been
Aloof.
Yeah. Like I don't want to say like standoffish, but kind of. He's just been a little checked out, and they can't afford that. You guys cannot afford to have that because he is him or Dorian Finney-Smith are your best perimeter defenders on the roster, and with the perimeter talent that OKC has, you're going to need to have everybody playing at a high level. But I think OKC this year has dealt with the fact that people still didn't really talk about them much. They still were kind of under promoted, just like with Cleveland.
Yeah.
But it's a different situation of like Cleveland's going up against a defending champ versus OKC is going up against the media champion and the champion that the league would love to be there. Like let's call it what it is. But I think OKC does it this year. But I think if you're OKC, as long as you make it to the Western Conference Finals this year was a success because they're set to be the team to beat in the West for
years to come.
For as long as moving forth. I don't see it. There's not another team more well-rounded and built than them. And I also think in the league they're the best built team. You know what I'm saying? They just have every single thing that you need. But Gang Green to get ring 19. You feel me?
Lastly, we have the Thunder and Celtics in the finals, man. Woo! I don't know about this. This one, I don't know, man. I'm still trying to decide who I got winning. This one's tough, man. You got some of the best players of their generation, SGA and Jason Tatum. Like, born the same year, 98. You got to this MVP.
Great year.
SGA against the reigning defending champions who have Jaylen Brown Finals MVP, another superstar in Tatum wing. But the Thunder kind of have their own iteration. They got an SGA who is probably considered the Tatum of that team, obviously, best player on the team. Jalen Williams is kind of like another iteration of Jaylen Brown, man. Bucket getter, could defend. We're on the same side, like height too, 6'7". Like it's kind of weird, kind of like a carbon. I don't think he's as athletic as Jaylen Brown, but I feel like he's a better shooter than Jaylen Brown. Like I feel like
he is.
Athleticism, but he's a better shooter. And then you have Chet guarding up, matching up with Porzingis. It's like damn, it's like seeing a mirror version of yourself. Porzingis probably seeing a younger version of himself in Chet Holmgren, which is like, wow, like, oh, look at that. That's me like 10 years ago. How skinny he is and all that. And the way he moves with the ball and the way he can score on all three levels. And he's a shot blocker. It's like, ups in this game, this series,
kind of even in
And then Drew Holiday and Derek White, I would say, they can make Shea's life hell, but Shea gave them buckets. he gave them buckets this year.
Shea cooked us. Like, there's no.
It's like I don't know.
We had nothing. We had nothing for Shea. Shea was able to get all his shots wherever he wanted and felt. But I got us winning in 7. I think that's going to be an all-time series, and I feel like that could maybe even establish a new rivalry as far as coastal between Boston and OKC, because there was a lot of jaw jacking in that game, especially the last one they played. There's not really like a historic rivalry or connection outside of Dennis Johnson was traded from the Supersonics to to Boston, and then also the reason why we got the second pick in '86 to get Len Bias, rest in peace, was because of trading Gerald Henderson Senior to Seattle. So it's kind of ironic, but outside of that, there's really not much connection between the two franchises like that. I mean, KD almost came to Boston in the summer of 2016. I was hoping and praying it didn't happen. Sadly, didn't happen. But yeah, I think overall I think that has I think either way, an all-time series can be had. But I got to go with my team. I got us winning in 7 though. I think they're gonna we're gonna have to really be playing at another level. And again, this would be the perfect showing. This would be the perfect showcase for Jason Tatum to show why I had picked him initially as the MVP for this season. It's not gonna happen, but he can end the year. I got him winning Finals MVP.
Oh man, this because I was just looking it up. Thunder are 4-2 in their last 6 games against the Celtics. They have their number, and they beat them both times this season. Shea dropped 30 plus in both
They
those
beat us.
games.
They whooped us. Again, they
Mhm.
had our number all year. They whooped us in both the games that we
No, I
played
wouldn't
against.
say they whooped you guys. I mean, one of the games was close. It was what was it called? 118, 112. The other one they won by 13 though. So it's like
Okay,
it was
well,
close.
okay.
Like
I might be
very.
ODing it, but it was both games. I watched both games, and because I was getting off of work for one of them, and then I was off the other one. We were not in control of either of those games. And that's going to be key for OKC. If they are to win, they have to establish their momentum early. But I do believe that the championship pedigree and the talent that we possess as well. Because I mean, I think we also have one of the best rosters in the league. I think we don't have close to the depth that OKC has, but I put us right under or right under Cleveland. So I got us winning in 7.
And you're talking about how this could be a big series for Tatum. This could be a thing for Shea. Oh, I'm leaning if he wins MVP, reigning MVP, and say I take my team to the title and win Finals MVP, there's gonna be some talks like, oh, everybody's talking about who's the next face of the league. Shea could be
It
like,
would be him.
hey guys, I'm over
It would
here.
be him.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
hey guys, I'm only 26, gonna be 27. I'm in the prime peak of my powers. I've been dropping over 30 plus 3 straight seasons, shooting over 50% from the field, doing it
Yeah.
efficiently too, not just dropping
Yeah.
30 and being inefficient, efficiently
Yeah.
30. And I'm only guard since Jordan to do that for 3 straight seasons, averaging 30. That's a legit company. Like,
Yeah.
and then if I win a title and MVP, I might have to, hey Jokic, hey knock knock, best player in the league, man. So I might have to steal that for Tom for now. Just saying,
Yeah.
if he goes to the
But
finals and say he wins MVP, and then he's gonna win Finals MVP. We know that if they win.
I'll
It's
I'll
gonna be
say this too.
serious. And if he beats the Celtics, or say the Celtics don't yank it and the Cavs go, and he beats either one of them,
Yeah.
that is
It's a win.
serious discussions. Like, oh,
he takes that mantle. He takes the mantle
yeah.
as number one.
I know we love Anthony
He's the guy.
Edwards, MB, we love all of them, but Shea might take that mantle.
I feel like
And
as
he has
long
the
as
aura too. He has the drip. He has the swag. He don't talk much, but he's a cool dude, man. He got that Allen Iverson, Kawhi Leonard cornrows going on, like, and his
I feel like
game. Yeah. What are you gonna say?
as long as they get to as long as they get to the Western Conference Finals this year,
Yeah, at least conference finals. They're too good not to.
Yeah.
Unless somebody
They
gets
should
hurt,
make.
that's the only way. Unless somebody
and
gets
I will say, like, obviously, I don't want to see my boys lose, but if if knock on wood somehow, some way, right, they beat us, I'm not going to be too mad because that was a great team, and they have players who I think have a tremendous future ahead of them. So, but like I said, Gang Green, Ring 19, book
and
it,
Armani,
JT,
I'm gonna say
MVP,
this though.
Finals
If
MVP.
say the Lakers get there, right? Man, I do love the Lakers, but I just feel like the Lakers don't have the size.
Celtics would have our
They don't have the
Celtics would have
sheer
our
force.
number by size.
Yeah, that's the only reason I
Mm-hmm.
don't think the Lakers could beat the Celtics and don't match up as well. Because if they
Mm-hmm.
had Mark Williams, okay, like if that trade would have went through, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
Porzingis
that was a
down
big
We
there,
just
loss.
have Jackson. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got Porzingis, you
I
got
get you.
Kata, you could throw down there. Kata was very impactful for them when Porzingis was out.
Kata was good. Kata's
Yeah,
good.
you got Horford who's still effective. Tatum could post guys up. Like that's the only thing. Like the Celtics are gonna really make them work and have to guard. And the Lakers, that's one of their weaknesses. They don't have a interior force down there. Like Jackson Hayes could block
Yeah,
shots and all that, but when he goes to the bench, then what? Like, or if he's
yeah.
in trouble,
It's a
then
tough matchup. It's a
yeah,
tough matchup for the Lakers in that if they were to make the finals. And looking at the Thunder and the Celtics, like that's a tough one for me too. I would want to say that if things line up for the Thunder to get to past the Western Conference Finals, I think they'll have a lot of momentum going into that series against Boston. They would technically have home court because they are the one seed in that seed. They would be the one seed in that match, and I think they would be able to show out at home for sure. But it's just going to come down to at the end of the day, like I think Tatum and Brown can do it again. I'm pretty confident in their ability to be able to get a repeat. It's hard to repeat, but I think with the talent and then the capabilities that team has, with Coach Mazzulla like has flow of offenses with getting threes up. I don't know if OKC is going to be able to match that due to just Shea wanting to have the ball dominant regard and stuff like that. So I think Boston pulls it off in 6-7. Um, it would be good for them to win. As much of a Laker fan as I am, I think it would be good for Boston only for the simple fact, like, for Tatum's legacy and career. Same for Jaylen Brown,
Yeah.
Drew Holiday, Horford, Porzingis, all of them, Derek White, everybody, Pritchard. It's going to be good for them to help build that dynasty that they're looking to try to build. Because look, Boston at the end of the day in the Eastern Conference, they're reputable for the next 5 to 10 years if they really want to talk about it for real. Like if that team stays together, or even if that team stays with their core, at least that team can compete for years to come.
yeah.
As long as contractual issues and NBA with the salary cap doesn't f
Second
up or
nature would be
anything, but
hard, man. Look what it did to Denver.
yeah, and so
Yeah,
they can sustain a good team, and if they just focus in on wanting to win, I think that the Celtics can come back and do it again. So, Thunder though,
7?
going back to the Thunder, huh?
You said Celtics in 7?
Celtics in 6.
Oh, you got Celtics in 6.
I got them in a 6 games. I got them in a 6 game series. The only way the Thunder pull it off, and the only way the Thunder pull it off is, like I said, like the momentum has to be really riding high for them in that home court advantage side.
Yeah,
But I could see Boston, if they do play Boston, I could see Boston sneaking one out, either game 1 or game 2. And if they can do that, they kind of have more leverage going back game 3 and game 4 in Boston. So I think it's going to come down to being a really good series, though. I'm rooting for Shea to win. But at the same time, like being realistic, I think Boston has a good advantage.
I, I think I'm gonna go with Boston too, man. I think they have the
Yeah.
experience. I think Celtics in 7. I love. I
Mm.
just think they have more experience. Especially they've been through they've seen every playoff battle test. Like you said, the
Mm.
road. Tatum has had some classic performances on the road. We we saw Game 6 against Giannis, couple of 2022. They was
Mm.
at finals, and he dropped 46 that game. I think him and Giannis had classic duel.
Yeah.
Giannis had like 40 and
Mm.
20 that game. Tatum had 46, hitting 3 after 3. I was a senior in college. I was watching the game out. I was like, man, this guy Tatum's going off. He was like 24
Yeah, he
against
can hoop, bro. He just
yeah.
has to
And
be
then next
aggressive.
year,
He
game
just has to be
7 or
aggressive.
game six or something against in Philly, he drops 50 against Embiid and Harden, and he sends Harden leaving
Oh,
packing from the Philadelphia
oh,
76.
oh.
Yeah, and so Tatum has proven time and time again in big games in the playoffs, even on the road, that it doesn't phase him. So yeah, that's the
Yeah.
reason I think the Thunder are great. I think they still need a little more growing pains. I want to see Chet get a little bit stronger. He needs a little bit more experience, but I think the Celtics, their experience and just they've been through it all. I got Celtics in 7, but Thunder are gonna make it tough. They're gonna make it tough. If the Thunder do win, I won't be shocked, but I'm gonna give it to the Celtics.
So
So hey, Dylan, how you feel? I know you're feeling happy. We went through all that, and your Celtics came out on top. How you feeling?
I'm gonna feel great, but we
You
need
gotta
to
go
we need
fill
to
that up
get
with some
there.
wine or beer.
Oh, there's nothing. No, there's nothing in it. But we need to host that. We need to hoist that Larry O'Brien Trophy again, and Jason Tatum needs to end this year with a Finals MVP.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well,
That's my
yes, ladies
that's
and
my
gentlemen, that's gonna
prediction.
do it. Yeah, it's gonna do
Ring
it for a great
19.
playoff breakdown, man.
Absolutely.
Great playoff
Well, it's been an
breakdown. How you feeling?
absolute blast.
Ready? Ready for the
You said
playoffs,
what?
man? How y'all feeling, man? Y'all
Oh
ready for
yeah.
the playoffs to start?
I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's
This
going
is
to be
a very
good. I
exciting
think
playoffs.
mhm.
Yeah.
So
We just had like basketball. I feel like right now basketball is at a good point right now. Level of talent it's pretty balanced out right now. You know, there used to be a time where the Western Conference would be really dominant, or
Oh
you
yeah.
have some years where the East will sneak. But like this is one of those years where I feel like it can go either way.
yeah.
And there's been a lot of times, and I mean, y'all being fans of the game, like y'all can attest, like the West is going to dominate. The West is going to be competitive. The West is going to do this, and then you got the East, like, oh, I don't know how they're going to play or how they're going to perform. But like, I feel like this is one of those years, and even last year, because Boston, like they did their stuff last year, like they won and they did what they needed to do. But I feel like this is one of those years where it's actually smooth out to where it can go either way, East or West. So
Mhm.
I'm excited. It's going to be a good round of games. Even the playing games are going to be really good and competitive. Like I think implementing that like has created more fandom for the league. So I really do feel like this is like the best time right now for basketball. It's awesome.
No, I
Yeah, I'm
totally agree.
excited. I'm
Totally.
excited, and I feel like even though like yes, there's probably more. I think the Eastern, I think the Eastern Conference matchups are going to be a bit more. There's going to be more at stake with them.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
I do think that the Western Conference, the potential matchups are going to be incredibly exciting. And if you are a fan of basketball, watch as much of this as possible. So it's been an absolute pleasure talking about it, though. I greatly appreciate, and I'm looking forward to when we do that episode talking about Ring 19 and the Boston Celtics.
Yeah. Ironic, man.
Woo!
You know what's ironic? Well, I'm
DJ, go to his crib and go throw that cup away and burn it,
Ah!
gonna have to teleport there because he's like 6 hour drive. That's crazy.
bro. I can't. Hey, I'm
Yeah.
gonna throw this up at him when we win, bro.
Well, dang, you gonna throw
Oh,
my goat up there though? That's not
Yeah,
fair.
I have to.
That's not fair. That's not fair. You know, I got like 5 different Kobe things up here, man. That ain't fair.
Oh yeah.
That ain't,
no,
but
that's
nah,
true,
nah.
man. Yeah,
But
man.
No, I
either
appreciate you,
way,
DJ, for having
Ironically,
us
too,
though.
I'm wearing green too, so it's like, damn.
there we
Oh
go.
yeah.
DJ,
I
you
have
can
my late
always
show shirt on. I'm good, bro. I'm good
DJ,
over
you can
here.
always join the winning team, man. We happily take you.
You know what's ironic too, Armani? I have a black shirt that has a Lakers on it, so it's like, damn.
Oh yeah. Yeah. See, if Phil was here, I would have somebody else will be right
I got a
now, but
Kobe
Phil not
jersey
here.
Yeah,
too, so I got a Kobe
Yeah,
Mamba Black
exactly.
8 edition
so
jersey.
I got 2 Kobe I got an 8 and 24 Kobe jerseys. So I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, man.
I would love for LA to make it, and I would not be. It wouldn't be fun, but the league is better. You know, again, when the teams
Yeah.
like the Lakers are
I think you just need to move from the East Coast and come back to like the West Side. I think you would end up being a Laker fan or something like that. Maybe he'll switch over. But I get it though. No, I'm just playing, bro.
brother, man.
You're gonna be singing
I'm gonna
that
be
Ice
bleeding
Cube
green.
West Side. Welcome to the West
Look,
Side.
Yeah, for real.
I
I
throw up
love
the
that.
dub, but I'm gonna be bleeding. I'm gonna be bleeding green till the day I die. So,
Oh,
but
okay.
respect the
All right,
Lakers
bro.
though.
He said when
Remember
he passes
respect.
Yeah,
away, put that green paint on him. You know,
right.
put
Bury
that
him in
green
Celtics
Celtics
casket.
logo there, man.
Yo, please
Um,
put me in that beautiful emerald. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, with the with a
Mm-hmm.
Tatum or Bird jersey on, something like that.
I'm gonna get him a Rajon Rondo. I'm gonna get a Rajon Rondo jersey and put it on him.
Rondo was my favorite during the Big Three era. So I wouldn't be
Yeah,
opposed.
I mean, Big Four era.
yeah,
Four.
It became the Big Four, and then yes, it started out as the Big
Yeah.
Three.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
Well, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it for another great episode. Playoff predictions with my guy Armani Jackson out in California and Dylan. Tell people where they can find you, fellas. Hopefully, we have no issues with uploading this time, no processing. So
No, I
Riverside,
hope
don't
not.
let me down, Riverside. Where they can
Knock on
find you, for
wood.
you guys at.
You can find me on Instagram at KWON_solo, Quan Solo, SOLO. In case you didn't know so, it's Quan Solo. And you can also follow my
Right.
sports and music and life podcast, Chilling with Dylan 1229, both on YouTube and on Instagram. I'm actually editing an episode today, so I'm hoping to get that uploaded later today. And yeah, you can you can see there. I'm thinking about expanding into some other things, but right now those are the two things that I'm most active with.
Ronnie.
Yeah, find me on Instagram, Arimani, ARIMANI __. Also too on LinkedIn as well. Primarily just be on with DJ, Dylan, trying to help support their platform and their brand. So that's primarily where you guys can find me at. DJ, once again, just want to thank you for having this platform, allowing us to be able to hop in here with you, be able to talk basketball, and not even just basketball, sports life, period. Just want to give you your flowers and recognize you too as well, bro.
Thank you, man.
100%
Appreciate y'all,
DJ.
man.
Salute to you, my
For those of
brother,
y'all who don't
because
know, just saying it again, like Spotify, I'm having issues trying to get my main account back. So if you've seen all the episodes aren't there, that's I told you guys in the intro. But yeah. So I'm gonna try to hopefully get that account back. Hopefully I do. Fingers crossed for me. If not, I'm may only uploading all the episodes whenever I can, and then I'll put them back on my podcast, back on Apple and all that. So I'm doing it just in
Sounds
case. I'm
good.
gonna be safe than sorry because you don't know what's gonna happen, but. Yeah, when I
Yeah,
need to stop, I'm not gonna let Spotify stop me. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what. I don't
yeah,
know why they did that,
never
but
that.
they could have just told me, and I could have just changed the audio out with the copyrighted stuff out. But yeah, it's another great episode here with your host DJ Hamilton with my guys Armani and Dylan, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Much
all right,
love.
all right,
Appreciate
peace, y'all.
What we do here is go back, 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 back.